I haven't done this in a while. What's going on? Is it because it's Tuesday and it feels so far away? Tabang. Tabanglicious. Sorry, go ahead.
Then what you can serve us, give us money.
I
Tuck it out, brother. Tuck it out, brother. No, you didn't even touch my skin. Well done, you ninja.
thanks to you.
Cruise control.
Sandy.
If you like pina colada.
And getting caught in the rain.
There
I'm
we
so
go.
hungry.
Sanella can hear
sorry.
us.
I can hear you indeed.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we wanted.
I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, oh. I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning. morning, you beauties. Good morning, you
Good
beautiful
morning.
human
Yes,
being.
man.
So good to see you. So good to see you. I know you think we can't see you, but I can see you right now. It's fine. Stay in bed. Just pull the covers up. Snuggle in. We got you.
Yes, don't worry. Tell your boss you're not coming to work. I'm kidding. Don't do that if you don't have leave. But we were just actually doing some vocal warm-ups and trying to say as many big words as we could. So just to juxtapose what could be the analytical analysis of this particular show. It's a show full of life-changing conversations, from reprioritizing animal welfare in South Africa and working towards a kinder future for the animals. Wow.
Well, I think for all of us completely, it's going to be an eclectic Afro-fusion this morning as we look into some regenerative farming, some new technology. I don't think I've ever been able to say regenerative properly on TV before, to be honest. Now, we're going to look at how all of these things inform what you can do in the real world, i.e. how you vote. It's a show where we're going to want you all to please sit up, listen, look for those pressure points, those connections, what drives your purpose and how you can use it.
That's not all. Oh, I sound like an infomercial now, but that's okay. That's not all. We're about to launch the latest in fashionable smartwatch gadgets, changing the way you experience your workouts. And we have influencers Mark Buckner as well as Nadia Jafta. They are here to show us what the hype is all about. Simple.
Yep, and two of the most unbelievably beautiful people on the planet as well,
agree.
gracing us this morning. So look forward to that. And then, of course, finally entertaining us in Jersey this morning is the one and the only Manu World Star. And, of course, our very own gorgeous Zanele, who looks more and more gorgeous every morning. And I know she's really excited to meet this young man. And we are really excited to see her beautiful face. Good morning, Zanele.
Good morning, my beautiful, handsome family. Guys, get out of here. What am I going to do with you? You guys are just so special. Just like you are, Expresso family. This is why we make sure we wake up at like 3 a.m., hey? So that we can start at 6 a.m. and make sure that your feel-good morning gets going in the best possible way. As you heard from my family, yes, we are coming to you live from the Johannesburg studio at the Samsung Showroom and Design Quarter. And Manu Wallstar is going to be here. But I know you can tell that there is also so much more that's going to be keeping you glued to your screen. But you know we always want to catch you on the social media streets, right? So let's go to our Good Morning Post. This morning, my friend, we are gearing up for the elections. We know that come the 29th of May, we're going to be going out and casting our vote. So we want to hear from you, all in the name of this. 063-408-8863. Send us a voice note, please. We want to know, what is the most important thing to you when it comes to choosing a political party to vote for, huh? Make sure that on social media, you use hashtag Expresso Show, and it could be possibly anything. You know, is it the policy? Is it who exactly is the person that is going to be the front runner and possibly the president? What is it? Let us know, all in the name of us having this conversation as a family. Right about now, we do need to take care of business. So the amazing Carl is standing by for your news headlines. Hi, my Carl.
Thanks a lot, Zanele. Let's take a first look at your news and your feel-good breakfast show starting nationally. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa will sign the contentious National Health Insurance NHI bill into law tomorrow. Signing the bill into law will set into motion the government's plans for universal health coverage by creating a unified health system that provides patients with care that is free at the point of delivery, whether at a public or private facility. Ramaphosa will publicly sign the NHI bill at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. Business, healthcare professionals and opposition parties have expressed serious concern regarding the workability of the NHI bill. Now, the case against 4 suspects charged in connection with the disappearance of 6-year-old Jocelyn Smith has been adjourned in the Vredenburg Magistrates Court on the Cape West Coast until 15 July. Jocelyn went missing from the Middelpos informal settlement at Saldanha on 19 February and hasn't been found. The defendants include Jocelyn's mother, Kelly Smith, and her friend Jacqueline Apollos. They face charges of kidnapping and human trafficking. The court heard yesterday morning that forensic reports and the accused's mobile phone records had been received, but that information had yet to be analysed. Now on to international news. Several schools are reopening in Kenya after the start of the term was postponed by deadly flooding. Police and transport officials have been deployed to ensure learners reach class safely. Some 1,600 schools across the country may not reopen yet due to floods. Muslim leaders have expressed concern over learner safety and asked for the situation to be closely monitored. They are calling on drivers to be vigilant on the roads battered by the floods. Several schools have been damaged by the floods, which killed some 250 people across Kenya. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to remove his long-standing ally Sergei Shoigu as Minister of Defense. The Kremlin has announced the 68-year-old has been in the role since 2012 and will be replaced by Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov, an economist with little military experience. Shoigu will become Secretary of Russia's Security Council, and the Kremlin said the Defense Ministry needed to stay innovative. But Putin remains the person who calls the shots. He started the war against Ukraine, and all major decisions are taken by him. And finally, a lovely bit of news for you to wrap things up. SA has a proud record when it comes to the Paralympics, and this year many thousands will be watching the very, very brave Mhlenge Gwala, 32 years old, competing in the grueling triathlon event. Mhlenge has overcome much hardship to come this far. Some 6 years ago, this amazing young man, a former SA life-saving champ, was attacked by thugs with a chainsaw, causing him to lose a leg. But Mhlenge, born to a family of cattle herders in rural Ndwedwe, KwaZulu-Natal, wasn't deterred. He started training again, and the rest, as they say in the classics, is history. Come 28 August, he'll proudly be wearing the green and gold at the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games 2024 in Paris. A beautiful story to get you motivated this morning. As a wrap-up for news for now, another update in 1 hour, but let's take a look at the sporting action, and here's Graham. He's standing by.
Thank you so much, Carl. Let's start with footy, because I think the footy has entered its business end across all spheres. So let's start with European football, and John Duran's late heroics salvaged a 3-3 draw for Aston Villa against Liverpool, securing a place historically in Europe's top competition for the first time since 1983. So Villa's qualification for the Champions League, though, does depend on the result of Manchester City up against Tottenham Hotspur tonight. I think pretty much the Premier League also waiting for the result of that one as well, so going to be quite pivotal. Now we turn to rugby, and it's with mixed emotions that we say that World Cup winning All Black Sam Cane will step away from Test rugby at the end of 2024 after inking a long-term deal in Japan. So Cane, who has played 95 Test matches since making his debut back in 2012, will relocate to Japan in 2025 after signing now a 3-year deal with Suntory Goliath. Last year's All Blacks captain will still be eligible to represent New Zealand on the international stage this year, with a chance of becoming the team's 13th Test centurion, and I think they can still use his leadership on the field, undoubtedly. Now it's turned to tennis, and Naomi Osaka's return to the Rome Open came to an end in the last 16 as she was defeated 6-2, 6-3 by 7th seed Zheng Qinwen. So Osaka, 4-time Grand Slam champion, was playing at the Foro Italico for the first time in 3 years after taking a break from the tour to have her first child. But despite the loss, it was still a very positive return and tournament for Osaka, who achieved her first win over a top 20 ranked player on clay. Zheng's victory sets up a quarterfinal clash against third seed Coco Gauff. Now let's turn to Formula One. This is quite a big one. Ferrari has made 2 significant signings from Formula One rivals Mercedes. Jerome D'Ambrosio, a former racer who previously served as Toto Wolff's deputy at Mercedes, will join Ferrari as the deputy team principal and head of Ferrari Driver Academy. A big move. Then Loic Serra, the former performance director at Mercedes, will now become the head of chassis performance engineering at Ferrari. So both signings will start their roles at Ferrari on the 1st of October. These additions to the team come ahead of Lewis Hamilton's move from Mercedes to Ferrari at the end of the season. You can start connecting the dots, further strengthening Ferrari's lineup moving into a new year. It's going to be quite a bold move. Just look at those 2 faces. I think there's going to be a lot of friendly in-house competition there, let's say. But that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take our first look at your Tuesday morning weather.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's take a look at the weather, and starting off with the SA Weather Service, who have issued a warning of extremely high fire danger conditions over the northern, central and southern parts of the Northern Cape, the northeastern parts of the Western Cape and the northwest of the Eastern Cape. The Northern Cape typically enters its peak fire season in late May, lasting approximately 28 weeks. This year has seen 79 high-confidence fire alerts so far, a normal figure compared to previous years back to 2012. Notably, between May 15 last last year and February 12 this year, 1,457 high-confidence fire alerts were reported. From 17 May 2021 to yesterday, the Northern Cape has experienced 12,754 fire alerts, highlighting the ongoing challenge of managing fire risks in the region. Do remember to send through your beautiful sunrise views, no matter where you are. Could be outside of the country too. We'd love to see them on 063 408 8863 as we take a closer look at the temperatures across South Africa.
Every morning I tell myself, just don't mention Uppington, just don't do it, man. Just let them rest, let them sleep. But it is obviously at 31. It's now winter's finally kicked in.
Wear
in
a jacket, Uppington. Just wear a jacket, eh?
Sorry, it's very rude. I know we are joking a lot this morning because we're kind of tempering the storm. We are in for, I think, a mother load of some pretty hectic information coming your way. I was privileged to be a part of the State of Animal Welfare Address, which opened my eyes, was a massive paradigm shift for me, and I think everybody needs to plug into this. An incredible collective led by 4 paws in this case of welfare organisations, social, even political will now, and an opportunity for us to achieve actual action, political traction in the space. Maybe that's how you want to use your votes, but we'll give you all the information. But it is pretty hectic, so we're going to warn sensitive viewers that these sessions are going to be quite intense.
But we have to have a conversation about it. Very, very important. One thing we have to also chat about is voting, and technology is going to be indeed a very important impactor with regard to voting this year. We're going to have to discuss exactly what will be happening around that sphere. So make sure you make your mark at 29 May, but know how technology is going to be involved. So all of that for you right here in Feel Good Breakfast Show. Make sure you stay right there.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
A life in a cage is no life at all. That's the bottom line. That is the belief that drives the work being done by an incredible organization, Four Paws South Africa, right now. And they represent an incredible collective in the animal welfare space. This global animal welfare organization for animals under direct human influence have had a voice, and they are using it. Just a few days ago, they celebrated their inaugural Four Paws State of Animal Welfare Address, detailing how scared and abused animals in cages are subjected to unbelievable conditions right now. I think we're all living in denial. And I had the great privilege of hosting this incredibly important event, and it has changed my paradigm forever. I'm going to say that I don't know how you do what you do every day. Joining us to reiterate their message is the director of Four Paws South Africa, Fiona Miles, alongside my spirit animal campaign officer, Saliwe Shavambu, who is a driving force behind this. I'm going to say thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for dragging the rest of us along with you to see that many like-minded stakeholders, to see political parties setting aside party politics, but just to see the extent that people are going to. It was hopeful. So I don't want people to think that this is just all doom and gloom, but it was also terrifying. So maybe let's start there. Where's this baseline at? What is the state of animal welfare in South Africa? And I know it speaks to the globe at the moment, but where are we at?
I think we're at a point where we need to be conscious and start being aware of what's going on. I think every day we're not aware of what's going on. The food that we eat, the things we put into the atmosphere, we're walking with blinders on. And I think that was the whole purpose of the event, was to bring people together and to say, look, the state of animal welfare in South Africa is poor, and we need to set ourselves apart and start making changes, start doing something differently for ourselves as people, for the animals, and for the planet, because there's an interconnectedness between all three. And if we don't recognize that, we are the ones that are going to suffer.
We're doomed. We are doomed. I think we've reached that line now. That was the big thing that I just couldn't escape as I do shed my tear on the way home, because it was just a lot to take in. So maybe you can talk us through some of the big kind of moments, the numbers that really jumped off the page on Friday night.
I think, on Friday night, what we saw was animal welfare organizations coming together and saying we need to put animal welfare in the political agenda.
We need legislation, we need policy, we need it now,
policies, we need, law to be enforced. And I think for the first time we saw these organizations coming together and actually, in one voice declaring that animal welfare should happen worldwide. And that for us as Four Paws is the greatest achievement.
Well, in 20 years, I haven't seen it yet, that combination, ever.
It was that convening. And like you said, politics were put aside. All these animal welfare organizations have been in the space for a very long time. And I think for the first time we were owning it. We were becoming the authoritative voice for animal welfare. We were saying that, politics is there to reflect the will of the people. And 86% of South Africans believe that animal welfare is bad, and we wanted to show that. We wanted to speak for, the animals in the wild, the animals in our farms, and the animals in our homes.
The animals at our side. If we were talking about this level of trauma, and in the next segment we are going to show some visuals that just haven't left me yet. We are talking about trauma, and if we plug this kind of trauma into any other social space, we would not move forward without processing it. And yet our children are seeing this level of trauma every day, and we are then enjoying the fruits of this process. There's got to be a massive psychological breakdown, economic breakdown. It just speaks to a massive disconnect in that sense. What will happen when we talk about meat exhaustion, when we talk about that line in the sand? What happens if we don't get political traction, if we don't actually start doing something material now about it?
As you say, it's the 10th of May, Friday, was actually Meat Exhaustion Day, which is the 5th month of the year, and we've actually, as South Africans, consumed all the meat that we are scientifically and from a health perspective allowed to consume. That is a huge impact, and it shows that we need to really work on reducing and refining and replacing what we are consuming, as you say, all that massive consumption. If we don't start doing something, we are going to be really impacted, because the welfare of the animal, the welfare of the planet is going to we are going to be impacted by that.
It's one welfare, it has to be.
It has to be a one welfare approach, And if we don't approach it from that perspective, it's as you say, it's not doom and gloom, but certainly we have to do something serious and take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I love the notion now that we have almost run out of time and space to deal with this, and I think people understand that, whether we can take it all on board yet or not. Maybe it is too much to fully embrace, but we've got to start thinking about the next generation. My idea of sustainability has changed, and I'm not saying that eating animals is must come to an end now. It's not an emotional choice. This isn't that path. This is about the actual sustainability of the system. Where do we even begin when we think about designating funds? Now, I suppose this needs to be broken up into the wild spaces, into farming, and into domestic. Where should that focal kind of area be right now? What needs to shift in that space, do you think?
I think, one of the things we were calling for in the SOA address that was delivered by Ms. Fiona Miles was, for funding to come to, for veterinary services in underprivileged communities. I think when we speak about companion animals, we speak about animals that we stay with in our homes, but there are so many animals that are also homeless. And there's so many animals that don't receive the veterinary, care that they need.
These are animals that we have domesticated.
Yes, that we have domesticated. And therefore, it's so important that, as we heard, Alderman J.P. Smith, when he was responding to the address, spoke about the responsibility that lies in municipalities, right? And organizations like Four Paws have put themselves in the communities, and we have taken charge to say that we need a sustainable model that could, that we can use to ensure, a stray population management. So those kind of calls that we call municipalities, where we call organizations like Four Paws, we basically are saying that we need to come together. We can no longer work in silos. The problem is bigger than us. We have crunched the numbers. The numbers are presented to us. We see the number of animals that, are, companion animals that are stray animals. We see the numbers of animals that are not vaccinated, that are not sterilized, and the problem is getting out of hand.
It's critical
and we
mass
need to
now, I think.
come together. Yes, we need to come together. I think we have to recognize that too much of everything becomes a problem, and we cannot do this work in silos. And which is why the SOA on Friday, we witnessed such a convening of like-minded organizations.
And it becomes, again, like we've seen in the advancements within the medical space, it's the sharing of critical data, but it's that indigenous data. We need to know what that community needs in order to be able to help their animals, help them with their allotments, help them with their own food production. It occurred to me on that night, listening to these incredibly intelligent, empowered people transferring data amongst each other, that might be what it takes, is just a shift in legislation so that we can only buy meat from within 10 kilometers of where we live. Something small might shift the bigger picture dramatically, but what it depends on is all the stakeholders putting their hands up. And NGOs, welfare-based organizations, know the communities. They've been based there for 20, 25 years. They have the trust and they know what's needed. So we need you to put your hands up as well. Maybe this is how you want to cast your vote. Start looking into party politics when it comes to welfare. We're going to continue this discussion in just a moment.
Thanks a lot to the panel and G as well. We need to continue the conversation in a bit, but quick sidebar for you, because 55 million rand in total estimated Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots, they could be yours today. They're up for grabs. That's right. You can play Powerball for an estimated 38 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 17 million rand. But as always, if you want to win, you have to play. And you can buy your tickets today in store. You can go to nationallottery.co.za. The mobile app works. You can also buy tickets through your cell phone banking or by simply dialing star 120 star 7529 hash. That is for USSD. If that's an info overload, we've posted all of those details on the Expresso social media pages, so go check them out. And of course, Panda, Pusha, play. And do remember, as mentioned, we do need to continue our conversation and really walk the road as all the stakeholders come together for a kind of future for our animals. And if you're looking to slow the aging process down just a touch, we've got some supplements that may actually do the job for you. That'll happen in the next few. So stay with us right here in S3. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, man. Well, the conversation pretty much hasn't stopped since we last saw you, so thank you for rejoining it. We are continuing a vital discussion around improving animal welfare in South Africa, because it also speaks to the global ecosystem at the moment, and we have an opportunity to lead the charge. And recently, a survey was done here in South Africa and revealed that, thankfully, 86% of South Africans right now believe that the state of animal welfare is unacceptable. I'm going to please put out a warning right now. We are going to show visuals, some photos, some video footage that were very distressing for me. If you are sensitive for this kind of thing, it will hit hard. So please be aware of that. I want to talk about the Kuwait death ship, because I thought this was an anomaly. This was a ship that had gotten lost, not the norm of how animals are literally being born into a life of trauma, a cage, floated around the world and then slaughtered. And then we are eating that meat thinking we are going to get some kind of positive anything from that production line. Why are we only waking up to that now? Has it been flying under the radar? If this is such a common practice, and how common maybe is a good way of starting this, is that the norm out there in the world now? And those images, I think people cannot move past.
I think, we are so used to the picture of a happy cow when we have our milk. The picture of
cow that lives its
the
best life,
picture of animals, farmed animals, basking in the sun and in grazeland and just living a happy life is the picture that, great PR, especially from farms that we've been receiving, right? But this is the reality. From farm to fork, this is how animals actually live, so that they can actually, provide the meat that we find on our plate. I think people need to start thinking about the environmental cost of just their meal. The environmental cost of
fuel alone.
of just fuel alone. That's how we need to look at it. But I think that ship that docked in Cape Town a few weeks ago is the life of animals, and I think that's why we wanted the state of animal welfare, is because we wanted to address that issues. We wanted to give you guys the numbers. We wanted to give you the number of cattle in that ship. And this isn't the only ship. It just docked. It just happened. It was a reminder.
Come down,
It was a reminder of the lives that farmed animals are faced, and
and it almost occurs to me that, and we are not attacking all farmers, and I please need all farmers to understand this. We are attacking the production line that has come as a result of us commoditizing, if that's the word, a living creature in this way. There are farms that run beautifully, that manage sustainably, that work regeneratively. I understand that there is an incredible voice for that within the farming community. I'm talking about the production line thereafter, how it makes it to our plate, and that's the terrifying thing. Clearly, most South Africans want to do something about this. How do we do that? What is the first step? Maybe when we look at the farming situation, what can we do to affect change?
I think we need to start by educating ourselves. So that's exactly the purpose. That was the purpose of the event. And hold up a mirror to our face, hold up a mirror to ourselves, our families and communities, and our politicians, and say that we need to do things differently. So people can really, as you say, we're not attacking farmers, we're not looking at it from that perspective, but we need to take responsibility for our own behavior. What can I do to reduce my consumption? What can I do to replace? What can I do to refine what I'm doing, so that on a daily basis it becomes a practice, it becomes a habit? We need to create that consciousness and that collective consciousness. We should be talking with each other as we're doing today.
Completely,
And we do need to make this a political issue. We do need to start demanding. And as Liwe was saying earlier on, it's within our responsibility. We can ask for things to change. We're allowed to. We can bring that to the table.
In fact, that's what our vote is there for, is to speak to that. So how would you, and you are just ridiculously young, which blows my mind to how much you've achieved, and you've been recognized for that. So I'm so grateful that that's fueled your fire even more. How are you going to go about choosing the parties to back? How would you plug your energy into the space as an example for other South Africans to use their own political voice?
I think more importantly, even with the upcoming election, is for people to study the political parties, from political parties to independent candidates, study the manifestos. These manifestos are actually there, and I think this is just, you know, the voter 101. Manifestos are there to reflect the will of the voters, all right? And if your will is for animal welfare to be in the political agenda, that's your key search word when you're looking at political manifestos. If your will as a voter is to have animals be recognized for their sentience, that's the key word you're searching for in the political manifesto. And this is a number of social ills already. You need to look at that and actually search political parties that reflect what the South Africa you want to see. And as for pause, the South Africa we want to see is a world where animals are treated with respect, empathy, and care.
Completely, because it speaks to one way of welfare. The animals will only be okay if the people are okay, and the people will only be okay if the ecosystems around them are okay. I have a feeling that this is the first step of a collaborative effort that is going to shift the baseline. I can't see us moving backwards from this point. The political will is there. There are champions within the political space, and I think my vote has changed as a result of what I heard on Friday night. And I was struggling to figure out how I was going to go about that journey myself. I feel empowered to do something about it right now. NGOs that have the trust-based relationships, that have worked within these ecosystems, that understand the science, understand the people and those welfare pressure points, how do they become a part of this collective? What do you need from them, and how can they make contact with you and rally to the war cry?
I think it's really important that we recognize within the NGO space that we can't work in silos. We cannot work alone. This is a huge task ahead of us in terms of, you know, and we're at that tipping point now. So to come together, to work together, to work off of each other's strengths as well. There are so many people in the field doing incredible work for domestic animals, for farm animals. They are often unrecognized. So what can we do to support, to elevate, and to bring their voices forward? And what can we do to really continue to have these engagements? This shouldn't be something that we kind of think about once a year. This needs to be daily work. And so there are coalitions. There's the Wild Animal Protection Forum, there's the Farm Animal Alliance, there's the Cape Animal Welfare Forum. These are groups of like-minded people coming together to do that work. That needs to be funded. We need a lot more funding to come through to the organizations that are doing that work on the ground. And we really need to also put aside any internal politics and actually say, let's focus on the animals, let's work together.
We're no longer fighting for the same slice of the pie. And what I love about these collectives, there are lawyers there that will help you fight your case. There are business leaders that will help you build your business, your social entrepreneurial venture. There are like-minded people, but the bottom line is this kind of gateway. We've got one person saving tens of thousands. We need every person to save one. And if we can shift that mindset and all live just a little bit kinder, the results, the mark on our kids' psyche alone. We will not have to explain what we have done to this planet and our animals, our companions, to our children one day when we have crossed that line and there is no way back. And that day is a lot closer than people think. I would recommend that you go to 4Paws SA's website, go to their YouTube channel. You'll be able to pick up snippets of the speeches that were made on that night to see the extent that our fellow humans, our brothers and sisters, are going to save our planet while us just sit there with blinkers on and carry on consuming and consuming. There is an opportunity to do something massive, and it starts in the political space, and we have a vote to make on the 29th, so use yours with power. Thank you so much for doing what you do every day. Love you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
An incredible conversation and definitely a good message to you about your community. Now, talking about that community, it's time for Pharmacy of the Week. Our salute to the remarkable individuals leading the charge in healthcare. Today, we pay tribute to Danmed Pharmacy in Danville, Pretoria, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
So for me, it's always been about the people. Regardless of what industry you're in, it always comes down to the people and the people that you work with and the people that you serve. So within this community, it is a lower LSM group. However, the people are genuine, they're real, they come and they celebrate each other. The community often comes just for a chat, just for a conversation. So some of them are quite lonely and they just literally come here to spend some time with other people that they could relate to. Very often customers can't afford to go and see a doctor, so they trust us enough that whatever advice we give them, that they're willing to go with that. I think at Danmed Pharmacy, we're not just a pharmacy, so we are offering that extra service. We'll go out of our way to make a patient happy. If we don't have something available, we'll bend over backwards to try and get it for them. We don't just have a pharmacy here on the premises, we've also got our sister's clinic, we've also got a doctor, we've also got a dentist as well as a physio. And some extra add-ons that we've also tried to include just to make it convenient for our community is we also do ID photos, we've got an internet cafe, we do printing, laminating, and also ear piercing.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Suffering from a blocked or runny nose, body aches, congestion, pain, and fever. Today, be brave in the face of colds and flu. Use Carenza Paracy. Carenza Paracy. Relieve cold and flu symptoms this winter. Carenza Paracy. Proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Well done, Danmed. Even piercing ears. Check that out. But thank you so much. And of course, all the pharmacists who are making a difference in your community, thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate you. So much so, we're going to add so much entertainment to your Feel Good Breakfast show today. In fact, we want to slow down the aging process just a touch. And we are going to do that through some supplements. We'll venture into that soon. And then, of course, 30 years of democracy. You know what's changed? Technology. How does that impact voters? We'll dive into that in the next couple of minutes right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
There are stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome to our latest and what promises to be an incredibly interesting phytoceutic segment where we are diving into the fascinating realm of aging gracefully with none other than the esteemed Dr. Carmichael. You've probably heard of his name before, certainly if you've been doing some digging in this area. Doc, great to be connecting with you. I know you've connected with our show before, so thank you for returning. Can we try to bed down what aging actually is?
Aging is what happens to us over, let's say, 80 years of life, where we start to grey, we start to wrinkle, we start to slow down, we notice all these things. We become stiffer and more bent over. And it was always thought that this was a completely inevitable process, that there was nothing we could do about it, therefore don't bother. And then ever since the 1980s, where we discovered the immortal jellyfish, they were like, well, some animals get
Hang
it
on
right.
a minute, yeah.
And then we had the bowhead whale and various other animals. And slowly, the realization began to drop that there are things we can do about our aging. There are genes inside of us. There are pathways inside of us that we can harness if we would like to alter this trajectory. So it's not trying to be Peter Pan. It's not trying to live forever. It's just altering the health trajectory.
And I always feel like it's the effect that the world has on you, which means you can do something about it. And we have seen massive, massive advancements. It almost feels like in this information sharing era that we live in now, professionals such as yourself are out there propagating, sharing knowledge, which I love. What are those hallmarks of aging?
So that's the big term, the hallmarks of aging. And it's a little confusing at first. If we go back a step to what came before the hallmarks of aging, before that we had the theories of aging. So it might be that a horse wears down its teeth, so the wear and tear theory of aging. As you wear your teeth down, you can't eat.
Sure.
And then there was the free radical antioxidant theory of aging. And then we got to other aging theories like the DNA damage, information theory of aging. And if we damage our DNA, and that started to get to the real element of what some of this aging is about. So now they took 12 of these elements, one of which is damage your DNA, another might be inflammation in the body because of senescent or zombie cells, and their stem cells is another one. So as we run out of stem cells, we don't do so well. And they took 12 of these things, and these are the hallmarks of aging. And so now we're looking at what can we do with the hallmarks. What's the most important hallmark? Is there one that sits above the rest?
This is like a practical guide to being a human. I want to talk about lifestyle and supplementation. How much of a role can that play?
So the lifestyle we lead is very powerful. The supplements are added on, and they're very important on a daily basis. But the lifestyle is the primary thing. If we don't get the lifestyle right, if we don't get our sleep, our stress, and our sugar consumption, so the three S's, those three things right, then nothing else fits in place. So we've got to get those basics right first. And then on the back of that, there's different things we can do. So the problem with us humans is that as we get older, we tend to move towards comfort. And if we can recognize that and recognize that discomfort activities, cold water swimming, the heat of a sauna, fasting.
Preach it, Doc.
If we can start to embrace that, as opposed to sitting on the couch, it makes such a difference on a daily basis.
You must see some common threads, some of those products that really do kind of stand out. Can you give us just a few of those that really jump off the page?
It was always a good multivitamin, high quality, with all the right stuff in it, because we don't get enough nutrients in our diet, would be right up there. I'm not saying it's number one, it would be right up there. The fish oil is always going to be there, high quality fish oil. But really the exciting things that have been coming through would be the NMN. And then if I were to choose one other, I'd choose quercetin. So quercetin we know from onions, from apples. That's where we get it, but you need to eat a lot of onions to get enough of it. So we supplement it high quality. And quercetin is probably best known as an anti-allergy type of product, but it's also an anti-inflammatory. As we get older, we collect these zombie cells inside of us, which are the senescent cells, and we stiffen up more and more. Every time you get out of bed, it's just a bit stiffer than last year. And so it's very difficult to clear these cells that have been half cleared. They've been parked by the body, but the body doesn't know what to do with them. And so senolytics, things that will remove those senescent cells, are important, and quercetin is a very important one of those.
Maybe we can round this off with, because you're fighting a battle of misinformation as much as you are a lack of education. So what are some of the misconceptions, or maybe one heavy hitter that you want to dispel when it comes to aging? And then maybe just a little bit of advice in terms of the supplementation for people to look at their own system and know where to start that journey.
I think the biggest misinformation is that why bother? You can't do anything about it, or it's too late. I've been smoking for 20 years or 30 years. And it's never too late. And if you just, you measure how the body shifts after stopping smoking.
Especially smoking, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or I've got a fatty liver. That can be reversed in a month if you cut out the sugar or you cut out the alcohol. So I think that's the biggest misnomer, is that I can't do anything about it. It's never too late. And there's a lot we can do. No matter what your age, if you're 50, if you're 70, if you're 30, it makes a difference. So that would be my big thing, encouragement for people. And I think supplement-wise, we don't need a huge number of supplements. We need most of our supplements from our food. We need that rainbow plate of food that we eat.
For sure.
But we do need to top it up. And so within that, I would say choose 2 or 3 or 4 high-quality supplements as opposed to lots of poor quality supplements.
The shotgun effect. Yep, go for that rapier. That's going to go straight to the DNA of the cell. The bottom line is the power is in our hands. Don't think that aging, like tax, is just there for all of us to deal with. It is there, but we are so empowered to do something about it. Now, remember, when choosing your products, you can use an exclusive 15% discount on your purchase by using our code, courtesy of us. It's Expresso, and that's on phytoceutics.com, their platform. You can also, as an added bonus, on top of the added bonus, stand a chance to win one of 2 1,000 Rand vouchers redeemable on phytoceutics.com. So to enter, what you've got to do is tell us this: which Phytoceutics product you'd like to include in your healthy aging journey. And it is a journey, so you can share your answer with us on any of our platforms, our Expresso Facebook, X or Instagram pages, using that all-important hashtag Phytoceutics in your entry, or you don't qualify. And you can find all the T's and C's that apply on expressoshow.com. That competition will run up until the 20th of May. We're going to get a lot of entrants, so get yours in and make it a good one. Doctor, thank you so much. I think I might need to book an actual appointment with you, but that was absolute gold. Thank you.
Thanks, Graham.
Enhance your beauty from within with Phytoceutics range of skin, hair, nail and longevity promoting products. Use code EXPRESSO for 15% off at phytoceutics.com.
Fascinating stuff when it comes to aging, but of course we are heading towards something a bit different, and that is the voting day, a big day to make a difference in our country. And that's why we had to ask this particular question: what is the most important thing to you when you are picking a political party? And you jumped in with some of your comments, and remember, it's your comment and your opinion, and we love that. Let's take a look. In fact, Ntuli Melody Sma saying this: good morning, the most important things is people doing their jobs, eradicating poverty, fixing load shedding, water problems, education. Every human basic right must be attended to. Our country's economy is in shambles. Supporting entrepreneurs, leveling the scale. You know what? I love the fact that you took your soapbox on that, because I believe that these political parties need to hear us. Because the thing is, we are the guiding force of our country as its people. Our leaders should be in the same vein as well. Now, Gary Okamp, as always, delivering as he does. You see, Gary Okamp's service delivery is good when it comes to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, but service delivery, example being, we as citizens pay billions every year to license our vehicles. This money should go directly to roads and not parties and T-shirts. Yet some roads in East London have got such massive potholes you literally can't drive over them. Hashtag Expresso Show. Very, very good point there, Gary, because when you go over a pothole and your car breaks, where is that money coming to fix the vehicle from that lack of service delivery in your area? I salute you for that. Then Clarissa Miller saying this: good morning, a political party that is there for the people, hands-on and delivers 100. Couldn't agree more. In fact, Hildebrand has a voice note for you to listen to as well.
Good morning, Expresso. What's important for me when choosing a political party is that they're able to do what they say they're gonna do and not make empty promises. Step up to the plate. A political party that's able to bring unity amongst our people and not divide our people with animosity with other political parties, because we're stronger when we're together. And
wow.
We all just human at the end of the day, before political parties, before status, before race.
That is fantastic, and also very powerful. Hildegard, thank you so much. That is fantastic. We'd like to hear your opinions, because we're heading toward a very important day in our country. What we need to do is take opportunities to share these sentiments with everybody, and more importantly, to our leaders, knowing that the people, all we want to be is served. We would love those beautiful freedoms we celebrate every day to be looked after by the leadership as well. It's as simple as that. So when we go to 29 May, let's use our vote responsibly. And of course, whatever we need to put into that, we have to do so on your Feel Good Breakfast Show as well. So thanks a lot for your opinions. And this is on this particular topic. I love this so much. Keep it coming. And of course, we're going to keep all of the entertainment coming for you as well. In fact, there's a lot to go into, and Zanele has all of those details.
Indeed, my Carl, and I absolutely love that, Carl. Voting responsibly, and that is making ourselves aware and being in the know. And this is why coming up, Expresso family, this is what you got to stay tuned for. We're going to be getting into the impact of technology on voters. So yes, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about me, because we are South Africans and we do not take lightly the fact that we are able to vote, and that's why all of us are going out to vote on the 29th of May. But what is the impact of technology on us exactly? We're going to be finding out right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And then we are launching something exciting. It is, of course, the latest and most fashionable smartwatch, and it is going to be right here on Expresso. And my friend, trust me, you do not want to miss out on it, because these watches get better and better. But we've got the best in the building. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back on the other side of this.
Join markets.com today. Start your journey to trading success and stand a chance of winning one of 2 iPhone 15s valued at 20,000 Rand each. With 6 global licenses, 4.7 million clients worldwide, and free insight on the markets from trading expert Ruan Landsberg, markets.com is where opportunity meets education. Download and sign up now on markets.com mobile app. And that competition ends Friday, the 17th of May. Good luck.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
You're on your Feel Good Breakfast show right here on S3. And my friend, I always tell you, this is where you get to have a fun day, right? In terms of starting it the right way. But we always have the conversations that matter. In the year 2024, we can be so proud because as a country, we celebrate 30 years of democracy. With that being said, it is our 7th national election where we are in this beautiful place that we find ourselves. However, it does mean that the things of today affect how, where, when we vote and everything else in between. And technology has got such a huge effect on that, because in this age of misinformation and disinformation, we need to be 100% in the know of what exactly it is that we know and how correct it is. So this morning, we've invited our Google family to come and help us out, all in the name of this, to make sure that we are in tip-top shape and also equipped very well when it comes to knowledge come the 29th of May. And this is why Abongile Mashele is in the building, the head of government affairs, as well as, of course, public policy at Google. And she is the woman that is going to be answering our questions today in terms of how does technology affect us as voters. Hello, Abongile.
Hello, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming through. How are you feeling about the 29th of May?
It's an exciting time for anyone. It's important for governance. It's important for our country. And 30 years into democracy, it's new generations that are also voting. It's a new, it may be a new era for the country. So it's a very important time.
100%. But let's jump into it, Abongile, because I know we don't have a lot of time with you. You're a very busy woman. So we need to know, please, because obviously, like I said, we're in the times of technology, right? And this affects so many different things, but especially when it comes to voting. So when we talk about transparency, as well as us 100% just understanding fairness and equality, how does technology add to this for us?
So technology does a lot of things for us. If you think about it, 70% of South Africans are actually online. They access technology. And as we lead up to the elections, it's only normal that people will be going to digital platforms to access information. They go to digital platforms to access information about who the candidates are, where do I vote, what are the different offerings that different political parties bring to the fore.
Yeah.
So it's important for us as digital platforms to be able to enable them to do that. So as Google, one of our principles is actually to look at how do we organize the world's information and make it easily accessible to users.
Yes.
And that is the same thing, or the same principle applies for elections. How do we make the most reliable information accessible to users so that you as a user, Zanella, when you go to Google search and you look at what information you would like to use to inform you as you prepare for the vote, we surface the most reliable information. But now in terms of the integrity of the elections, we know that there will always be bad players in everything that we do. And the bad players, some of the bad acts that we will see online, it would be misinformation and disinformation. How do we combat that? In South Africa, we also have peculiarities such as hate speech.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that there's no hate speech that is perpetuated on our platforms? And to respond to that, we've got various policies, we've got a lot of programs that we've put in place as well to equip users as well as political players to make sure that when they are utilizing our platforms, we do not use, there's no spread of misinformation.
Yes.
There is no hate speech that is perpetuated on our platforms. And we've got a plethora of ways of how we've done that as a company.
And I was going to ask you about that actually, just diving into it, because of course, like I said, 30 years of democracy, it is a huge thing for us as a country.
Yeah.
But we know that Google is at the forefront of honestly doing everything you've just mentioned.
We're only 25 years old, by the way.
Well, I mean, honey, that's almost as old as the democracy, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But this is why I want to ask you then, especially in terms of supporting the integrity of the election, especially one that is so important because everybody has been saying that this is a huge one for us as a country. You know, what exactly is Google doing in terms of doing that and just really supporting us as a country?
Firstly, like I've said, utilize our platforms to make sure that we surface reliable and credible information. And we've partnered with agencies such as the Independent Electoral Authority because they are the ones who would be the go-to agency if we want to know if voting stations are open, where can people find the nearest voting station. So we've partnered with them. If you search on Google search right now on where to vote, on top of the search results, you would actually get an organized search results page that links you directly to the IEC website so that you can get the most credible information, because that's the only way you can combat misinformation, by surfacing credible information. Similar to YouTube, we ensure that when people search for anything news-related on YouTube, we surface credible news agencies such as yourself, and we're also partnering with newsrooms to help them to equip them to know how to use YouTube effectively for their own station, so that they can drive users onto their YouTube channels. So we've actually been having engagements with people in newsrooms who run digital platforms for newsrooms so that they can use YouTube effectively. So we've got those, and also we've got our political ads policy, which basically governs or regulates how we use political advertising on our platforms. And one of the things that we are very strict about is about transparency. We need to know who is placing the political advert on our platform, so you have to be registered. It's about ensuring that whatever political ad is placed does not perpetuate misinformation. So whatever you are placing in an ad on our platforms, it has to be accurate, it has to be true. It shouldn't transgress any of our policies. If you are utilizing artificial intelligence, for instance, you need to disclose it upfront so that we know that there is AI that has been used. And we also place it on our transparency report. So users or anyone can actually go to our ads transparency report and they can see who has been placing political ads, how much have they spent, and if there have been, if there are ads that have been removed for violating our policies, you can actually see those ads. And this is something that was not there 5 years ago when political advertising actually came up as an issue on digital platforms. And these are some of the safeguards that we've put in place as a company to make sure that as users, you know exactly who is placing ads and why they are placing them.
I love this. I feel safe. I feel safe to vote.
We should.
I do. And it's good. Thanks to you and your team. Because genuinely, I mean, the fact that there's so much transparency, even to the point of that, I think that that is so incredible, especially, like I said, at a point where we are at, you know, such a critical place as a country.
It's important for users to trust our platforms. Because if you don't trust our platforms, then you will be also not be too comfortable with utilizing them. So
Yes.
respecting the user is one of the core values that we actually have as a company, and respecting the users also requires a level of trust. So it's important for users to trust us. It's important for users to understand the policies on our platforms. And it's
Yes.
also important for users to flag issues.
Sure.
So if you pick up any elements of something that may be hate speech and you're not sure, flag it. We actually have human reviewers who would review it if our machine reviewers would have missed it.
I love human reviewers. I
Yes.
love you have the best of both worlds.
Yes, yes.
Abongile, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
It's
having
always so
us.
incredible to have conversations like this because, like I said, at a critical place is where we find ourselves as a country, but at a very exciting place, like we also said. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. 29th of May is looming, my friend. It is getting closer and closer. I know you're going to be going out and voting because we do not take it lightly, the fact that we can. But more than anything else, it is our responsibility as a South African. More of this conversation is going to be happening a little bit later on in terms of us and voting. However, right now, Carl is standing by with the news headlines.
Thanks, Daniela. It is 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at your news starting nationally. Now, the death toll from the collapse of a building under construction at George in the Western Cape last Monday has risen to 32. 20 workers are still unaccounted for and 13 are currently in hospital. It's described as the biggest built environment disaster in SA's history. Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Sihle Zikalala, the Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation Alvin Boertes, and various engineers and experts in the construction industry visited the site just yesterday. They were joined by the High Commissioners of Zimbabwe and Malawi. Now, moving along, President Cyril Ramaphosa will sign the contentious National Health Insurance NHI bill into law tomorrow. Signing the bill into law will set into motion the government's plans for universal health coverage by creating a unified health system that provides patients with care that is free at the point of delivery, whether at a public or private facility. Ramaphosa will publicly sign the NHI bill at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. Business, healthcare professionals and opposition parties have all expressed serious concern regarding the workability of the NHI bill. Now, moving on to international news, Russia says its forces have entered the Ukrainian border town of Volshansk amid intensified attacks of the country's northeast. Now, Volshansk is 74 kilometers from Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. And Russian forces unexpectedly crossed the border on Friday and took control of 9 towns. Heavy fighting continues and thousands of civilians have already fled towards Kharkiv. Ukrainian commanders are concerned that Russian forces could advance to within 30 kilometers of Kharkiv, which would mean they could target the city with artillery strikes. Now, several schools are reopening in Kenya after the start of the term was postponed by deadly flooding. Police and transport officials have been deployed to ensure learners reach class safely. Some 1,600 schools across the country may not reopen yet due to floods. Muslim leaders have expressed concern over learner safety and asked for the situation to be closely monitored. They're calling on drivers to be vigilant on roads battered by floods. Several schools have been damaged by the floods, which killed some 250 people across Kenya. And finally, in Wolverhampton in England, a woman was astounded to find a South American monkey in her greenhouse. She scrambled to call the animal charity Wings and Paws and report a strange wild animal with a bushy tail beeping about her property. Volunteers who arrived on the scene discovered a monkey casually sitting on the kitchen countertop helping itself to some food. The so-called wild animal turned out to be a cute marmoset named Marcel, some 10,000 kilometers away from his native South America. Marcel has now found his forever home at Monkeyland with the added bonus of a new girlfriend. What a fabulous end to the rescue mission, living in a spacey enclosure with the new love of his life. And I end with that love story. Of course, another update in 1 hour, but let's talk about sport. Here's G.
Oh, the monkey business doesn't stop there. Some excitement in our European football, obviously in the run-in where it all matters that time of the season. And with competition historically for the first time since 1983. But their qualification into the Champions League will now depend on the results of Manchester City's match against Tottenham Hotspur tonight. In fact, I think the Premier League will probably be decided by this one as well. So the stakes couldn't be higher. Now let's turn to rugby and bittersweet story as World Cup winning All Blacks Sam Kane will step away from Test rugby at the end of 2024 after inking a long-term deal in Japan. So Kane, who has played an incredible 95 Test matches since making his debut back in 2012, will be relocating to Japan in 2025 after signing a 3-year deal with the Suntory Goliath. Last year's All Blacks captain will still be eligible to represent New Zealand on the international stage this year, with a chance of becoming the team's 13th Test centurion. And I think at this stage of their rebirth, if you will, they're going to need his leadership. Now let's turn to tennis, and sadly Naomi Osaka's return to the Rome Open came to an end in the last 16 as she was defeated 6-2, 6-3 by 7-seed Zheng Qinwen. So Osaka, 4-time Grand Slam champion herself, was playing at the Foro Italico for the first time in 3 years. That was after taking a break from the tour to have her first child. Despite the loss, there was a positive sign and definitely a positive tournament for Osaka, who achieved her first win over a top 20 ranked player on clay. Zheng's victory now sets up a quarterfinal clash against third seed Coco Gauff, which should be a cracker. Now, big moves in Formula One, and a lot of spice there as well. Ferrari has made 2 significant signings from Formula One rivals Mercedes. Jerome D'Ambrosio, a former racer who previously served as Toto Wolff's deputy at Mercedes, will join Ferrari as the deputy team principal and head of the Ferrari Driver Academy. And then Loic Serra, the former performance director at Mercedes, will now become the head of chassis performance engineering at Ferrari as well. So both signings will start their roles at Ferrari on the 1st of October. And there is a reason why these additions to the team, of course, come ahead of Lewis Hamilton's move from Mercedes to Ferrari at the end of the season as well, further strengthening Ferrari's lineup for the new season. Really interesting stuff, and we'll certainly watch that space, but that's where we leave our sport for this hour. The roads should be up and running by now. Let's get you to work safely.
Let's do just that, and I got Johannesburg and Cape Town incidents for you. Let's start in Germiston, Joburg. There's been a multi-vehicle accident that's on the N3 northbound after Elands interchange. The centre lane is closed. Delays are expected, so allow for some added travel time and approach the affected area with caution, please. And then Mowbray in Cape Town, there's been an accident on the N2 inbound at Mowbray Main. The right lane is affected, as you can see, so expect delays and plan your route accordingly. And more importantly, as mentioned, be safe as you head to work. Let's take a look at your weather. So let's start off with some weather news. The eThekwini municipality has taken a significant step by appointing a contractor to initiate the upgrade of the Ogunjini water treatment works aimed at enhancing water supply in the northern areas of Durban. Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu, alongside the municipality, introduced the contractor responsible for the 56 million rand upgrade during an event at the Osindisweni Sports Ground. Now, Mchunu highlighted that these upgrades would address water supply challenges in the Osindisweni, currently facing shortages due to the treatment works' inability to meet the growing community demand. Now, the strategic move emphasizes the municipality's commitment to ensuring reliable water access, benefiting residents and enhancing overall water management in the region. Now, sunrise views, I did ask you for them a little earlier. Thank you so much for sending through, because Avaria from Umhlanga sent this gorgeous image, and I promise you that is not AI, that is al natural beauty in South Africa. And look at that, the way the colors change in that screen. I honestly think it's a screensaver, but it's on your TV at the moment. 063-408-8863. I know it's not a competition, but if you have a better sunrise, send it my way. I'd love to see it as we look at the temperatures across South Africa. Okay, good temperatures over there. Uppington once again, 31. So we're
Come on.
cooling down.
We
All right.
are. It's chilled. It's chilled in Uppington today. You can actually leave your house today, but don't do it just yet, please. We got you for another 2 hours, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun. In fact, we have got something big to reveal, and it is oh so fashionable and oh so functional. The latest in wearable fitness tech. It is beautiful. You cannot wait to see this, and we might plug you into a very special opportunity as well.
Hey, talking about fashionable, we got Dr. Vince here, and this gentleman's scrubs, right? They look absolutely incredible. We're going to chat about deworming our furry friends and keeping them as safe as possible. And Dr. Vince is on the couch to chat to us about all of the details. It's going to be exciting and fun, and we love to inform you and empower you in your Feel Good Breakfast show, so stay there.
It's like the vet, Dr. Gray.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast show.
Welcome back. I missed you. Can we just talk about fur babies, please? We have to, because we love the animals on this particular show, and our furry best friends, I can tell you that they are the guardians when it comes to, you know, us and our households and our children. They shower us with love, and there's just happiness whenever you have a beautiful animal. Look at those faces. Now, think about that for a second, and let's really knuckle down on some concepts around their health too. We need to ensure that their health stays in tip-top shape. And of course, parasites such as worms may be small, but they can be a big problem for your dog. So joining us is an expert on the topic. As we always bring our experts to the couch, we have a veterinarian, Dr. Vince Botha, who is here to chat more about deworming our furry friends. So let's chat for a second.
Yeah,
Number one, we need to talk about the scrubs. They are the coolest scrubs I've ever seen.
Thank you. Thank you. I have quite a collection of scrubs.
So whenever you come back, I want to get a new scrub for you.
Get a new one every time.
Thank you. But let's talk about, you know, worms in general. I think it's something that we talk about too little. And, you know, a lot of us have, you know, dogs that play outside or inside, but there are certain intestinal worms that we need to get to know a little bit more. So let's talk through some of those intestinal worms that we have to look out for, so to speak.
Absolutely. So, you know, you mentioned showering us with love, and unfortunately that can come with other things if we're not taking preventative measures.
True.
And in South Africa, we have quite a few different worms that our dogs can get exposed to, and it's mainly sort of hookworms, roundworms, tapeworms, and then whipworms. And they all have different mechanisms in how they can sort of be contracted by a dog and how they work in terms of their life cycles. So it just depends on that specific worm and how they work. But generally, if your dog is out and about, they're very inquisitive creatures.
Yep.
And you know, they go and sniff and smell and lick and taste everything that they see out in the park. And so just from the grass, from the soil, they can pick up worm eggs. And then most of the time it's from feces of other animals, which I know is a bit gross, but that's the reality. And, you know, they go there, they sniff it, they touch it with their nose, they get eggs on their nose, they lick their nose. And so that's a way that they can pick up some worms. And then, for instance, things like tapeworms, they actually use the flea as their intermediate host. So when the dog licks and bites and chews when they're itching from the flea and they ingest the flea, they actually then take on the tapeworm through the flea, actually. So there are different ways that they can be transmitted. That's not really the most important thing. I think the most important thing is just knowing that there are ways that we can prevent them from actually contracting them.
Wow. Sorry, you told me how a tapeworm chills and a flea to get into your dog. That is just some sinister stuff. But let us talk about some of the things we have to look out for. You know, if we see our dogs and there are certain behaviors that we notice, I mean, can you point those out so we can really know that there needs to be an intervention, especially for a deworm? What are we looking for in their behavior?
So the most common one is scooting. So it's basically when they sort of walk while they're rubbing their bum along the carpet.
Yes.
It's usually like a big, fluffy, nice carpet. So yeah, the reality is that there are other things that can cause scooting, just as a little disclaimer.
Okay, good.
But it is a good idea if you see your dog scooting to just check when last you gave them a dewormer and maybe just update that. And if it persists, go to the vet. But scooting is often a sign. We'll see excessive licking around the bum area, and then you can see other things in severe cases where you'll have sort of malnutrition, where they'll start showing signs of having like really poor fur coat, and those kind of things. But that's in more severe cases. Yeah, and then you'll sometimes actually see it in the stool. So if they're actually passing roundworms, for instance, you'll see the worms, they look like pieces of spaghetti in the stool. Or tapeworms have these sort of proglottids, which are segments that they break off, and you'll see they look like rice grains in the stool. So yeah, I mean, you can actually see them when you're sort of clearing up the poop in the morning from the garden. It's also an area where you can keep an eye out for them.
So let's talk about prevention as well as deworming. I think that's very, very important because we want to make sure that, yes, we get them the health care they deserve. So some of the preventive measures, we can't stop them from going for walkies. I mean, we can't. So what do we do to prevent this?
So we actually, I mean, last week we spoke about prevention is better than cure, and it really is quite a crucial theme, I think. And so the key is obviously making sure that we're giving them a regular dewormer. So we want a good quality product that we know is going to cover multiple worms, knowing that in South Africa we have multiple different worms. You don't want a product that's just covering one species of worm. You want something that's covering multiple species. And then it depends on the product that you're using. So different products have different guidelines in terms of how frequently to use them. So the NexGard Spectra, for instance, uses a monthly protocol, which is quite a bit easier to remember. If you know every month that you need to give your dog every month, it makes it a bit easier. And that also covers for ticks and fleas, so that covers the flea component of the tapeworm life cycle as well. So that's where that becomes quite crucial. The important thing is actually knowing sort of what the product you're using requires in terms of frequency. I like to try and encourage people to set reminders on their phone because it's so easy. I mean, our lives really get away from us, and then you just can't remember, you know, what you did. And it's so easy to just go on your phone and set a repeated reminder to tell you, remember, I must do tick and flea and deworming. And if you're using a product like NexGard Spectra, then it's all in one.
Very, very quickly, maybe just a hack for ingesting whatever treatment you're going to go for with regard to a deworming thing. No, just in your experience, what is the most effective? I find that with my dogs, they are very responsive, but I know some dogs aren't that responsive. So is it okay for us to wrap, you know, whatever medication is in a treat? What is your hack?
So from a veterinary perspective, we just dose it. You know, that's the easiest thing to do. But yeah, a lot of them are palatable, so you can try different products in terms of, and a lot of the newer products that are coming on the market, they're really trying to encourage palatable products because it is a mission to try and give your dog products. But some dogs, it doesn't matter what you do, they're not going to eat it. So if you're really struggling, and even with my own dog, sometimes he's a greyhound, so it's a bit easier. He's got a nice long muzzle. But basically, if you hold on the muzzle and you hold behind the canines and tilt the head back, it makes it much harder for them to keep the mouth closed.
There we go.
So then as you tilt the head back, the mouth will start to open, and then it's much easier to quickly put it in there. And the tongue sort of has a little bit of a bump in it. So if you go past that little bump, then they can't bring it back up again. So you need to push it quite far back.
I just wanted to know, because that's a perfect hack. Okay, well, because we want to look after our fur babies as best we can, and I think sometimes we are a bit apprehensive because we feel like we're putting them under pressure, but I think this is great. So thank you so much, Dr. Vince Botha, giving us the details on, you know, looking after our pets, especially deworming. Now, control of parasites is a year-round problem for all dogs. Treating for just external parasites like ticks and fleas or internal parasites like worms only deals with half of the problem. With NexGuard Spectra, your dog is protected from parasites both internally and externally, all in a monthly tasty beef-flavored chew. NexGuard Spectra offers the most complete parasite protection and is available in 5 sizes, adapted to dogs and puppies according to their weight. So make sure you know that. And of course, we love informing you and empowering you. And it's also that time of the week where we want to give you something. A lucky viewer stands the chance at winning themselves a 2,000 Rand cash prize, as well as a surprise goodie. That's a goodie bag for their furry friend. To become this week's winner, simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, X or Instagram pages and just tell us about your dog's cutest quirks. And don't forget to add the hashtag NexGuard and, of course, hashtag Guardians of Love in your answer. Competition closes at midday this Friday, 17 May. T's and C's apply and, of course, can be found on expressoshow.com. So it's fantastic, actually. Dr. Vince, thanks a lot for all of the details. Appreciate you. And now that you know, let's look after our fur babies, and prevention is better than cure.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, gents. My whole image of the vet's version of Grey's Anatomy, of course, went out the window with the dog scooting across a fluffy white carpet. But imagine being able to buy your dog a new fluffy white carpet every single day. You could do that with 55 million Rand in your bank account. That is the total estimated Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpot today, and it could be yours this Tuesday. So you got to play. You can play Powerball for an estimated 38 million Rand, and then just throw in the Powerball Plus for an extra 2.50 Rand and net yourself an estimated 17 million Rand as well. But as always, if you want to win, you got to play, and this is how you do it. You can go in-store, be super friendly, build up some good karma, get your tickets. You can go online, nationallottery.co.za. You can use their mobile app. You can use your banking app really simply, or you can just dial *120 *7529 hash for the USSD. And we've put all of those details up on the Expresso social media pages, so you've got no excuses. Go and check them out at Panda Push a Play for Powerball and Powerball Plus. An estimated 55 million Rand up for grabs today. It is massive. Now we're going to take a very quick break. When we return, it's big. It is massive, and your opportunity to plug in. Forget the red carpet at the Met Gala. There is a new fashionista on the wearable tech front that is stealing all of the limelight, and she goes on sale today. We'll bring you all of those details in just a moment. Then it's back in the kitchen to whip up sushi just slightly differently. We're, of course, including some beautiful crispy chicken strips for something very different and absolutely delicious. Stick around.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, welcome back, first of all. You can see how excited I am right now because I know this from first-hand experience with this incredible company. We are literally stepping into the future right now with wearable technology. And I know that line is a very exciting battlefront. And today, fashion meets intelligence, supreme intelligence, as we join the incredible team as they launch their new Huawei Watch Fit 3. And it goes on sale today. And you're going to get to hear all about it firsthand right here on Expresso from someone who is very emotionally invested in this journey to give us all the info we need to know about this amazing. It's difficult to know what to call it. It's a watch, yes, but it's a fashion. It's a part of your statement. It's a part of your life. Is the Vice President of Operations for Consumer Business Group South Africa, Akram Mohammed.
Good morning.
Looking good, man. Looking just perfect for this kind of day. So good to have you here.
It's great to be here, man.
This is a wonderful opportunity because I understand when technology comes to bear in this way, what it means for the consumer. Because I wake up with a couple of million of those consumers every day, and they will talk to us. They are tech savvy. They know what they want, and they want to look good. Yeah. So much of that is embodied when it comes to our watches. What makes this stand out? Why is there such a buzz, a groundswell of excitement around today?
Well, exactly what you said. You know, it's not just about a pretty face, but it certainly helps to have one.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, historically, when you look at wearable technology, they were very much fitness trackers and dedicated towards the fitness enthusiasts. It's something you'll put on your wrist when you go to the gym or on a run, and then as soon as you head back home, you chuck it into a drawer. You know, it wasn't something you can put on to go to the office or go to an event later on in the day. And I think technology has extended and become so much a part of our lifestyles, where we express ourselves, our personality, and very importantly, our fashion sense. That it's really, really important to have this kind of device that's going to be an all-rounder and talking about all of this. And that's why a few years ago, we started a concept and a design concept called Fashion Forward.
I love that.
And now we've evolved that a little bit with Fashion Squared, because this is obviously a stunning square device. And trying to put in all the technology into a device that's just 26 grams and 9.9 millimeters thin. It's also comfortable to sleep with, and just to have it on your wrist and forget about it. So I think this is what's going to be really, really exciting to consumers.
And then just taking all the data, because it's functional. And you'd be amazed. I work with a lot of techies, a lot of influencers. I know we're going to have Mark Buckner and Nadia Jafta in just a moment, showing their just incredible fitness. When we talk about a pretty face, it does help. But they will put these devices to the test because they know what they want. So it looks great, but it also serves your life, your choices, how you shop, how you choose to get fit, how you choose to unwind, how you clear your mind. All of these things are informed by the technology that we use now, and it's all wrapped up beautifully in this one little package. How does this speak to South Africans right now? Because we're quite as I said, a tech-savvy market. We know what we want, and we're tracking what's out there, man. So how does this differentiate itself for us?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And I think, you know, technology aside, but South Africans generally very expressive people.
Yeah.
You know, so we wanted to bring something that's easily customizable. And on this device specifically, you can just snap out with a click the straps and change them based on, you know, whatever outfit you're wearing.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. But also the faces, you know, we've got a whole lot of customized faces. We're working with local developers as well to make unique South African faces that's going to be really, really stunning. Yes. But I think the most important aspect is we know where the world's going, what the economy is like, and it is quite a barrier to entry getting into this kind of technology.
For sure.
Really, really expensive for most people. And we wanted to make it more accessible, and accessibility is really important to us. So this device, with all those features that we just spoke about, coming in at just 2,999 launching today.
Wow.
I think that is what's really important, is taking high tech and making it available to more South Africans.
Maybe we should have started with that, actually. Maybe we should have started with that, because that's a lot. And I've been lucky enough to do a deep dive with the scientists working for this incredible company across a number of your spheres. I talk about the word service to everyone. Using technology to bring everybody up, shift that baseline up, so the accessibility is absolutely vital. But we get to benefit from the collective growth. So every piece of technology carries with it the collective compound understanding growth, technological advancements. So what are you most proud of when it comes to the tech in this beautiful watch that is now so accessible? What makes you most excited, do you think?
I don't think it's a specific function or feature set that we've put on, but the fact that it's such a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
You know, it's an incredible and highly innovative advanced fitness tracking, health tracking from SpO2 to heart rate monitoring. It tracks your sleep really, really well.
Or lack of.
You know, but just keeping you well, overall well-being. I mean, more than 100 workout modes with dedicated fitness coach on the device. You know, all of these things coming together in one package that's accessible and affordable, but also with 10-day battery life.
Wow.
You know, so it's ticking all those boxes and the pain points that you traditionally have. I mean, I love watches, traditional watches, not just smartwatches, but it's always been a case that I got to get up every morning and charge this damn thing. Or every
forget
night
that you didn't charge it the night before.
Or the night before, and then you can't even track your sleep because it's on charge the entire night. You know, so you lose all of these things. And I think this is what Huawei has done really, really well is we've looked at all those pain points and say, how do we address that? And then do it in a fashion-forward or fashion-squared way. And that's what really excites me about this product.
I love the line here because South Africans, and this has become very clear to me in recent weeks, we shop for the next phase of our life. And very often that's not accessible. We can't afford the 20 grand suit. We can't afford the 20 grand watch. And we feel like we're never going to be able to get access to that. The aspirational element of being able to get it, put it on our wrist and feel like we've arrived at that next point and get the level of functionality and the service that comes through that. Incredible. Well done. I hope you get a moment to just revel in today. I think we're going to break some records with this price point. Just that alone, absolutely amazing. But enjoy it. Take a moment to just soak it all up, as I would imagine the country's going to go a bit crazy today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, just to close that off is we always leave the best for last, because usually when you look at smartwatches, they are restricted to the OEM that manufactures them in terms of compatibility.
Yes.
But our watches are compatible with Android and iOS devices. So that opens up, so no matter what device you're using, you can be using an iPhone, you still can use the Fit 3. You can be using a Samsung or a Huawei or any other brand device and still use a Fit 3. And I think that's what's really exciting.
That's the South African way. I absolutely love it, man. Akram, thank you so much. I have a feeling we're going to be chatting a lot over the weeks to come. This is an incredible moment for the consumer because you're getting incredible value wrapped in. It's all about expressing your style, monitoring your health so you can act on that and seizing every moment with confidence and looking good while you do it. You can get your hands on this incredible fitness tracker by simply heading over to the Huawei online store, or you can get it from today in all retailers. And here's a little added bonus for two lucky, very lucky viewers. There are two of these amazing fitness watches up for grabs, both valued at 2,999 Rand. I can't believe that price as I say it out loud per watch. All you have to do is tell us what is your favorite feature of the Huawei Watch Fit 3. We've given you a couple. Remember to include hashtag Huawei Watch Fit 3 in your answer to qualify, and that's when you reply on the Expresso social media pages. The competition closes on the 17th of May this year. Obviously, T's and C's apply, and we're going to get a lot of entrants. So make yours good. Stay tuned for more exciting things to come and a chance to see how this amazing fitness tracker comes to bear in action. Akram, thank you so much and congratulations. I know this is a big milestone for you guys. Well done.
All right, it's time to meet your new obsession. Farmer Brown's, wait for it, sushi. Yes, I said it properly. It's sushi with Farmer Brown. Can you imagine it? Then stop imagining. We're about to make it. Now, as you know, they have a beautiful and nourishing crumb chicken strip twist is going to be added to this. It's the perfect combination of flavor and nutrition because that's just how we roll. It's like that. And we got the perfect chef. We've actually chosen her specifically for her size. Chef Roo Farusa is here, a private chef. 4.foodies.sake. Go follow her now and, you know, hire a private chef. She's incredible. We've hired her today. More importantly, we've given her an opportunity to be in the kitchen with me. Usually the camera has to frame up and then down to me and up and down to me. But for you, it's like this. It's on the level.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yes. Chef Roo.
Hi, Carl.
Farmer Brown sushi.
Yes.
Chicken sushi.
Yes. Have you ever heard of anything so incredible?
I have not.
Okay.
But then again, anything's possible. There were these aurora borealis in the sky and all over the world. So anything is possible for me.
So we are definitely pushing the boundaries here.
Let's do it.
Let's get started. So what we're going to do is you're just going to open some of our Farmer Brown crumbed chicken.
Thank you very much. Okay, must I just open it? Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. There we go.
And then we'll pop that onto this baking tray.
I've got a pair of scissors. I can open it for you.
Thank you so
It's
much.
just so easy with the pair of scissors. You know, I just do this for you, and then look at that.
Awesome.
See, and now we are there. Fantastic. Oh, and it's got a bag in here.
It's got a
So it's a
bag.
bag in a bag.
Right.
Which means it seals in the freshness.
We hope
That's
so.
it. That's it. There we go.
So we've got all of these that we're just going to pop
Fantastic.
onto here. I mean, half the work is done for you.
Oh, great. And then this is in the oven.
Yes, 12 to 15 minutes, 180. Yeah.
See, look at that. You see, this is why we're in the kitchen
I love
together.
this. I love
Did
this.
you see?
We
We
need
just
to
said,
do more of this.
we do. Okay, I'm going to the oven at the moment.
Great.
This is a beautiful time. Now, just join us for the next 10 to 15 minutes as we wait for that to finish. And we'll be waiting here. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. We've got stuff that we did earlier, which is
We
always
do.
good. Yes, let's do
Okay,
that.
great. So I'm going to ask you, Carl, to slice that into thirds.
What type? Oh, do you want
lengthwise.
thirds and you want it lengthwise? Oh, that's
Right.
an easy job to do.
That's
It's
very
okay.
easy.
So we do. So if you look at that, all right, I'm going to say a third would be like
Look
this.
at that hole. You've
You
got
see?
this on lock. That's perfect.
Is that what you're
So
looking for?
That is what
and
I'm
you just want me
looking
to
for.
finish process all of this for you?
Yes. Not all of
Okay.
it, maybe like, that's
Okay.
enough, I think.
Just like that?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
great. For
You can
example.
just pop this on here.
No problem.
And
I've
then
got you
we'll
covered.
get started with our sushi making.
Okay, this is where I get to watch you, Chef Roo. This is great.
I'm
do you
actually going to put you to work.
So do you do this? I'm going to just watch you. So you do this as a private chef?
Yes.
I mean, sushi is quite a nice thing for entertainers.
Yeah.
And naturally, when somebody would have a private chef over, you want to entertain, you want to actually do your thing. So I think this is a great idea. Chicken sushi I've never heard of, but I think that when we use this Farmer Brown one, I think this is going to be great. So as you process that, I want to tell you a bit more about Farmer Brown because I
Okay.
do my research and I
Right.
Google. So
Tell
Farmer
us.
Brown's, their Nourish range, which is very important. It's a healthier look. It's endorsed by the Heart and Stroke Foundation. It's a well-known organization that promotes a healthy lifestyle. And you know, Chef Roo, just looking at you, you're very healthy. I can tell. The skin texture, it makes
definitely
sense.
am.
I can tell. You see? So you can now enjoy 100% breast fillet and cage-free chicken sourced from South African farms, which means, yes, we put the economy to work and we look after our own. It's packed with wholesome grains. We're looking like, you know, a grain called quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
quinoa.
that's new.
And other super grains
That is
as well.
new.
You do know quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yes.
I think I've heard it pronounced a slightly different
Oh,
way,
it doesn't
but
matter.
I think I see it over
I'm
here.
from South Africa. Quinoa is important. Just make sure you say it properly, please.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, it's quinoa. Fine, I just heard you shout out
Right.
to TV. I know that.
Thank you.
Let's go into your sushi.
So as you can see, we've got, I actually see
Can
the
you see?
quinoa on the outside, which is
Great.
really great because it gives a lovely crunch to this. So we're just going to add a few pieces of our crumbed chicken.
This is exciting.
Right. So what I've just done is I've taken 2 nori sheets and I've put it the shiny side down. I've pressed some cooked rice, some sushi rice that we've just added some rice wine vinegar to. Pressed it down, kept it in the center so that it's easy for us to roll. And now I'm just going to add all the things that we want inside.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you like cucumber?
I love cucumber so much. I
Okay.
actually do love chili too.
All right, so
But I mean, it's fine. Next recipe, let's add chili.
I
But that's
agree,
fine.
and I think there's a tip we can add to this cucumber to make it even more flavorful. Coming from you, Carl, can you tell us what that is?
Chef Roo. Okay, so basically, before we started this, I told Chef Roo that I've tried it. You know, I dabble in the kitchen. I'm not
Yes.
a chef, but I
Okay.
dabble, and I think that a little hack for you is that if you soak your cucumber in your
Yeah.
soy sauce or even ponzu or a mixture thereof,
Yeah.
you actually get a beautiful sort of finished product so that when you take a bite, you don't need to dip and make a mess. Sometimes the cucumber is enough to season your sushi.
That's
especially when you're
absolutely
adding
right.
it into the sushi as we're doing here with this particular style. Just thought I'd add that too, but it's entirely up to you. You can, but I think cucumber is such a nice way of steeping in flavor, whether it be a chili flavor, whether it be you want to use one of your maybe hot pepper sauces. It's actually a cool hack to add a pop of flavor into your sushi. Just an idea. That's
I
all.
absolutely love that idea.
Thank you. Are you going to take it for private chefing?
I think I will, and I will credit you every single
No,
time.
you don't have to, man. You know. Okay, so once you've done that, we just give it a
Okay.
cut and we're good to go.
Okay, let's see how it turns out. Looks pretty good.
It looks great.
Okay.
I trust you.
Would you like to do the slicing?
Here we go, Chef Roo.
Thank
You do the
you.
slicing. I'll just do the finishing with
Okay.
the necessary
So
steps over here.
what we would like to do is essentially is to get, you can just slice that open.
No problem. Okay, this is sliced. Okay, great stuff. And there we go. So we just want to give you a little finished product over here. What I'm going to first and foremost do, should I do some wasabi on the plate?
Yes, please.
That's great. If you want to get the recipe, expressoshow.com, but we're going to do some wasabi on the plate over here. Just some dollops of it on each corner, just to make it look very fancy. And then once we're done with that,
absolutely,
we've got that on the top over there. And then we're just going to go from above over here and then...
Oh, that is a generous helping of that mayo.
I love that.
Okay,
that's
one
what we
more.
do. And then one more over there.
Okay.
And then we're good to go.
We're good to go. That looks amazing.
There we go. Thank you. Chef Roo, you're amazing. We've just made sushi with chicken. It's happened here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I'm proud of myself. Chef Roo's proud of herself. We are going to do this again sometime very soon with a new protein. But now it is time to win big this week. That's with Farmer Brown's Nourish range. As you stand the chance of winning a hamper valued at 6,000 Rand. Now to enter, all you have to do is tell us how does a delicious and nutritious meal with at Farmer Brown South Africa contribute to you and your family's wellness. Don't forget to include hashtag Farmer Brown Way in your answer. T's and C's apply and can be found on expressoshow.com. The competition closes on the 16th of June. Yes, it's Youth Day at midnight. So what are you waiting for? Get entering right now and try some different proteins in your sushi. Go for it, like Farmer Brown. Sushi done, and we are pretty much on a roll here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're going to continue that because we've got some more entertainment for you. We've got some special guests. We've got Mark and Nadia here who will be doing a special fitness challenge to showcase an all-new piece of technology that you need in your life. So make sure you stay right there. Plus, Ayanda's got something very special up Ayanda's sleeve in the next couple of minutes. So make sure you stay right there. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I'm having sushi.
Drained? Dehydrated? You have lost more than just fluid. Recover faster. Add Rehydrate, SA's #1 oral electrolyte mixture.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back, all of fitness enthusiasts. Yes, I've gotten changed. It's time to get a little bit busy. We're going to get those bodies moving. And of course, we are very excited by who's going to be helping us do it. Today, we're diving into the world of cutting-edge fitness technology. Yes, with a little fashion thrown in, with a special focus on the brand spanking new Huawei Fit 3. Are you ready to elevate your fitness game? Well, get ready, because we have two very exciting ways to get our heart rates going with a watch that caters to the exercise medium that you prefer. It'll work alongside you. So let's welcome our very special guests, influencer, fitness enthusiast, and all-round lovely human being, Mark Buckner, as well as entrepreneur and entertainer and skinny person, Nadia Jafta. Yes, I had to use my words carefully there. We're going to put a little excitement into the workout today. They're going to take me through some of the highs and lows, and there will probably be a few lows of testing our limits. We're going to do a 30-second little spin each, okay? That doesn't make any of you nervous at all. Mark, Nadia, so good to see you. You know, you were part of my fitness journey about 10 years ago. I think I started training at the gym you were training at and realized that I needed to level up significantly.
Where have you been? I haven't seen you at all.
I moved to the southern suburbs, man. No, I've loved the message that you put out there in terms of well-being and fitness in your space. So thank you so much for representing that, dude. You've like halved, okay? And now it used to just be funny. Now you are gorgeous, exactly. Fitness is a big part of it. What were you most impressed? Because I know you would have done a deep dive and you would have put it to the test. The Fit 3, how do you feel about it? What jumped off the page for you?
Definitely the functionality, the display. It's thin, it's like wafer thin and it's light. So when I go to Pilates, it doesn't even feel like I have anything on my wrist.
You forget about it, yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely motivates you to just be more active, you know, tracking my steps, trying to get 10,000 steps in a day is very important. And yeah.
You'll get them in the studio, okay?
Yeah, and a price point, like super affordable.
It's crazy to me that this is accessible, and I think far too often technology like this isn't accessible to the regular fitness enthusiast. What do you love the most about this watch, dude, now that you put it to a test?
By far the battery life, because I moved from another brand and it was 1 to 2 days. And the other thing is I like to track my sleep, which I don't get much of. So now, how could I do that if it's being charged the whole night? So it's 10 days battery life.
That's incredible. How do you use it to track your fitness, or how do you kind of use it in real time, practically in your space?
So I track my steps mostly. So even if I don't have like an active, super active workout day, as long as I'm getting in my steps, then I know I've moved enough for the day.
I love it. Well, I think we need to get the heart rate pumping just a little bit. So it's even encouraging me. It's jumping up and down.
Go.
Come on, you can do this. You can do this. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. Lucian here has very kindly offered to give us. So I'm going to pick first. Okay, thank you, Lush. He's never this silent. I'm going to go right to the bottom here.
What have you got planned?
Lunges. Okay, lunges is okay. Hey.
Are we doing jumping lunges?
Why would you even say that? Why would you even see jumping on there? We're going to jump into doing our lunges, Mark. Okay. So being the fitness enthusiast, talk me through the proper lunge, and we're going to do it for 30 seconds. My heart rate just shot up just talking about it. Come on, man. All right. Okay, so I'm going to follow your form. We're going to do this for 30 seconds and see where our heart rate ends up. Go for it.
Okay, so step forward, knee not over your toe.
Okay.
And then just before you touch the ground, straight up. But we are going to do a little bit of it.
Okay, and I'm done.
I mean, that's also difficult, right?
I'm not a jumper.
So much better.
I like how they waited for you to officially start.
You have to put my arms out just for some balance.
All right, and this is all about the quads, right?
Yep. And your core.
Halfway there, come on.
I'm so glad I wore this hoodie today. I'm getting enough.
Sure we. How are we doing there?
How many are we going for?
93. Okay. I feel like I've been going 5 more seconds. Come on. Come on. 2, 1. Okay, heart rate 93. I burnt a whole 2 calories, guys. I burnt a whole 2 calories. That is how you started. Okay. You see, but you got your steps in.
I'm not a jumper.
Okay, Nadia, we will give you the courtesy of choosing next. Be kind, hey? Be kind.
Push-ups. Oh, my fave. So we're gonna do it my way. I know you guys are excited to show how strong you are and how many push-ups you can do. But this one we're gonna do on the knee.
Okay.
Because that's all I can manage. Okay.
There's nothing wrong.
So we're gonna go.
Okay. In
Down.
3, 2, 1,
chest
go.
to floor. And up. Quickly up.
Yeah.
Slowly down. And quickly up.
Nice.
But I think I can do a normal one. Let's do normal. Let's go.
Oh, jeez.
We got your back. We got your back. 20 seconds to go. Nice close grip.
That's
so you're working the triceps. See, that's why you didn't wear sleeves today. Come on, 10 seconds. You got this, girl.
Screaming.
Come on. Just think about the shoot. Think about putting on the skimpy outfit later, doing the shoot, putting in the hard yards, and done.
I'm keeping track here because I think I did the most.
Let's see where we're at.
It's impressive. Nice.
82. I actually came down. You see, that's how calming you are.
Hang on.
As an influence.
Okay.
Mine's 130.
That's good. What you want? You want to burn. Has your heart even started pumping yet, dude?
Yeah.
200 calories burned.
200 calories burned?
I'll count the coffee as that.
Yeah,
okay, what's
100%.
Next?
Whoo-wee, nice. I like it. Okay, be kind, Mark, be kind. I don't think you have a choice, eh?
Yeah, no, it's, squats.
All right.
Okay. Jumping squats.
Why did your voice drop like 3 octaves there?
Jumping squats.
We love
What's wrong with you, man?
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to change it up each time, though. All right. From out to in.
All right, okay.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
3,
3, 2, 1, go for it.
Up. Okay, next one, a little further in, a little further in.
Oh.
A little further in, a little further out. And again, and back in.
Don't laugh, Lucian.
And back out. And back in.
Halfway there.
Back out. Woo. And now go as high as you can. Explode up.
Pull up.
Explode.
Hi.
5 more seconds. Come on, you can do it. Okay, I'm just getting my heart rate went up after that.
And she's down.
6.
I'm just
108.
Nice.
There we go. Well done. Oh, do you want to talk now? Because I can catch my breath. You're a legend, dude. I absolutely love it.
154.
154, that's it. Now we are burning calories. I might need to sit down for the rest of the show. The bottom line is, you can plug into this right now. Head over to the Huawei online store. All retailers right now, get their own one of your very own, under 3,000 Rand. And of course, 2 of you could be winning yourself one of 2 watches. You've got to head over to our social media pages and answer this. What is the best feature of this incredible Fit 3? Let us know on our social media pages, and we might just be sending you one of 2. One more. The Huawei Watch Fit 3 needs to carry that hashtag as well if you want to enter the competition. All the best of luck. Head over to our social media pages. And who knows, you might be joining us to do the ridiculous jumping squats, jumping push-ups, jumping everything. Mark, Nadia, love you guys. Well done.
Thank you for having us.
Let's see if it's gone up. 101.
It was the hug. Definitely the hug.
Thank you, my lovely Graham. Oh, my goodness. I love everything that is happening this morning. But don't I always? Because you know that on your Feel Good Breakfast show, we only have one specific standard, and that is excellent, okay? To make sure that you are indeed smiling when you head off to work, head off to school, or whatever it is you're getting up to for the day. Now, I want to tell you a few of the things that should keep you around as we get into it. And, of course, one of them is dealing with family baggage in a relationship. What is the best way to be able to do so? Relationship Tuesdays is in the building. And then, I'm so excited about this. I've been fangirling all morning. Manu Worldstar is in the building, my love. And we are getting to hear all about his platinum selling journey and everything else in between. We're going to be chatting to him in a bit, but you make sure you do not go anywhere. You're still on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
There are stories of strivers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Oh, yes, honey, we are in the business of feeling good right here on S3. And one of the biggest ways that we do this is by bringing you some of your faves. I told you about somebody who is a platinum selling artist, but someone who also, my friend, has done international things and made his name known not just in South Africa, but all over the world. I am talking about the king who came out as the breakout star in 2018 with his track Nalingi and has now gone on to show everybody what it means to be a true African superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the couch today in Johannesburg. It is, of course, Manu Worldstar. Hi, Manu.
How you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I feel very blessed right now. It's a nice season.
It is a nice season because the big boys are in the building.
You understand?
Exactly. Dropping your new track today, which we'll talk about now. But Manu, I want to go very quickly to, of course, Nalingine was one of the songs that made the world know who you are, not just South Africa. But then I want to talk about Choco because this was a song that charted in the UK. It went on to be in the top 10. It did such huge things. Speak to us about that moment for you.
To me, it was a solidifying moment because it proved that I can do it countless times. It's not a one-time thing.
Come on.
It doesn't always have to be on the same level, but each record or each moment comes with its own thing. And when I saw that Choco started charting in the UK, which Nalingi never did, and in the span of 2 weeks, what it did on DSPs, I was just amazed, and it made me realize that I am where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
And this thing called life is gonna be boring if I'm not on that stage, or if I'm not in that studio, or if I'm not, you know?
And not in your purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's exactly where you are now. Anyone who sees you, they can just see that you are genuinely living out what you're supposed to be doing, which is incredible. And I work at 5FM, by the way, in case you didn't know, Manu. And we play your music all the time. All the time.
I know.
Left, right, and center.
I know, and I love it. Thank you. I'm actually going there very soon.
Thank you. Okay, we will talk. But Manu, I then need to ask you because, of course, like I said, you know, you're someone who's not just made your name known in Africa, but internationally. So there are eyes on you, and you're already working with superstars like Tino, like Vuga. But who else would you like to work with rather internationally?
I do have an international hit list.
Okay. Do tell, please, my brother.
Definitely Drake. Definitely Wiz and Burna.
Love, yes.
Also, I would love to work with Coffee from Jamaica.
Oh, really?
She is such a talent, and I feel like the world still needs to embrace her. But maybe we'll have that moment together on a record, you know. But those are just the type of artists that I want to work with, you know, in the future, and I do see myself working with them. It's just a flight away, you know?
Oh, come on. I love that. A call away even, Manu. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, DM even.
Do you know what I mean? Manu, even after the Drake-Kendrick saga, you're still...
Listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you. Drizzy, Drake, Aubrey Graham will forever be world stars. Biggest inspiration, definitely. I listen to him all the time, but I am also a rap purist, so this is a very tricky one.
Yeah.
It compromised me a lot because I had to now remove my fandom.
I can imagine.
Think objectively.
Yes.
And my response would be that it was a very good battle. It was for hip hop. This one was for hip hop, and we needed it. So
100%.
Big up to both them.
And two kings indeed that came together to give us a show, if you will. Yeah. But then, Manu, I want to ask you as a king that came through on Sete. You were part of writing that song, something that not a lot of people might not know. I want to ask you, how did that opportunity come about? Like, you know, where did it come through that you and KO were now in the same setting?
You know, I'd like to say that this. And some people might call it controversial or whatever. I'm just being real. I would like to say that South Africa wouldn't have Afrobeats without Manu World Star.
Come on.
And I feel like the OG acknowledges that.
Sure.
And he had to give me the call. I feel like, and which was a big thing for me because it showed the mutual respect. I've always respected him. And he respects the fact that this sound broke into this country because of this artist.
Yeah.
So we got into the studio. He roped Blackie in, Young Stana, and it was just an amazing moment. With all of our heads together in the studio, how can you not make a #1?
Come on.
You know?
I love it.
We didn't just make a #1, we made a...
Honey, you made an award-winning, platinum selling.
I don't think there's another record that's topping that in terms of numbers just yet. Maybe
perhaps. Who knows? But for now, we are there at Center. And Manu, you are such a superstar. I'm so glad that you're in the building still because he is going to be entertaining you, South Africa. A little bit later on, we are going to be hearing about Big Boys, this brand new track that you actually need in your life, okay? However, first and foremost, we do need to take care of business. Carl, what's happening with the news headlines, my love?
Thanks, Anele. And of course, let's get into our news and just wrapping things up on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Starting nationally now, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has visited the Palane family to pay his respects and pledge support to find the criminals who murdered their 5-year-old son when they hijacked his father's bakkie outside the family home in Soshanguve near Pretoria. That was on Friday night. Promising the Palane family, Justice Lesufi confirmed that the police had strict instructions to hunt down the killers. Ditebogo Jr. Palane had run out to embrace his father at their front gate at about 10:30 p.m. But horror and death awaited as trigger-happy, ruthless criminals were attempting to hijack his father's vehicle. Now, the death toll from the collapse of a building under construction at George in the Western Cape last Monday has risen to 32. 20 workers are still unaccounted for and 13 are currently in hospital. It's described as the biggest built environment disaster in South Africa's history. Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Sihle Zikalala, the Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Alvin Boertes, and various engineers and experts in the construction industry visited the site yesterday. They were joined by the High Commissioners of Zimbabwe and Malawi. On to international news. A Nigerian learner is reportedly taking legal action against her school after a video of her being bullied went viral. Lawyers of Namitra Bwala said the prestigious Lead British International School in Abuja State had failed to provide a safe learning environment. She's said to be seeking $350,000 in damages. Footage of her being repeatedly slapped and insulted by fellow learners was widely shared earlier this month. The school says it's investigating the incident and hopes she will return to classes. Now, Russia says its forces have entered the Ukrainian border town of Vovchansk amid intensified attacks on the country's northeast. Now, Vovchansk is 74 kilometers from Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. Russian forces unexpectedly crossed the border on Friday and took control of 9 towns. Heavy fighting continues and thousands of civilians have already fled towards Kharkiv. Ukrainian commanders are concerned that Russian forces could advance to within 30 kilometers of Kharkiv, which would mean they could target the city with artillery attacks. Now, and finally, SA has a proud record when it comes to the Paralympics, and this year, many thousands will be watching the very brave Klengeni Gwala, 32, competing in the grueling triathlon event. Klengi has overcome much hardship to come this far. Some 6 years ago, this amazing young man, a former South African life-saving champ, was attacked by thugs with a chainsaw, causing him to lose a leg. But Klengi, born to a family of cattle herders in rural Ndwedwe, KwaZulu-Natal, wasn't deterred. He started training again, and the rest, as they say, the classics is history. Come 28 August, he'll proudly be donning that green and gold at the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games 2024 in Paris. And of course, we do wish him well. That's it for your news and your Feel Good Breakfast show. Let's take a last look at the sport.
Yep, I've caught my breath again, just in time to lose it all over again. Some high-stakes football on the go at the moment. Let's start with our European connection. John Duran's late heroics salvaged a 3-3 draw for Aston Villa up against Liverpool last night, although it fell short of guaranteeing them a place in next season's occasion for the Champions League will now, of course, depend on the result of Manchester City's match against Tottenham Hotspur tonight. In fact, I think all eyes from the Premier League looking that direction as well. It's going to be a decisive one. Now let's turn to rugby, and bittersweet news as World Cup winning All Black captain Sam Cane will step away from Test rugby at the end of 2024 after making a long-term deal a reality in Japan. So Cane, who has played 95 Test matches since making his debut back in 2012, will be relocating to Japan in 2025 after signing a 3-year deal with Suntory Goliath. Last year's All Blacks captain will still be eligible to give him that honour. Now turning to tennis, sadly for her fans, Naomi Osaka's return to the Rome Open came to an end in the last 16 yesterday as she was defeated 6-2, 6-3 by 7-seed Zheng Qinwen. So Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion herself, was playing at the Foro Italico for the first time in 3 years after taking a break from the tour to have her first child. Despite the loss, it was a very positive step back for Osaka, who achieved her first win over a top 20 ranked player on clay. And Zheng's victory sets up a quarterfinal clash up against 3rd seed Coco Gauff, which should bring fireworks. Now let's turn to Formula One and a big move on the inside of a team. So Ferrari has made two significant signings from Formula One rivals Mercedes. The first, Jerome Ambrosio, is a former racer who previously served as Toto Wolff's deputy at Mercedes. He'll join Ferrari as the deputy team principal and head of the Ferrari Driver Academy. And then Loic Serra, the former performance director at Mercedes, he'll become the head of chassis performance engineering at Ferrari. Both signings will start effectively their roles at Ferrari on the 1st of October. Coincidentally, these additions to the team come ahead, of course, of Lewis Hamilton's move from Mercedes to Ferrari. That kicks in at the end of this season, further strengthening Ferrari's lineup. Look at those faces. I think there's going to be a lot of healthy internal competition in the Rossol Red, and we absolutely love that. But that's where we leave our sport for this morning. Hopefully the road's looking far less competitive. Let's bring you the latest on the traffic front.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's take a look at the traffic. Edenvale, Johannesburg. Let me start there. There's been a 3 multi-vehicle accident on the N3 southbound after Linksfield Drive. The centre lane is closed. Expect delays and do allow for some extra travel time. And then down in Cape Town, Somerset West, there's congestion on the N2 outbound at Victoria. Expect delays and naturally add some travel time too. But be safe as you head to work. Let's take a look at your weather. Now, the SA Weather Service has warned of extremely high fire danger conditions over the northern, central and southern parts of the Northern Cape, the northeastern parts of the Western Cape and the northwest of the Eastern Cape. The Northern Cape typically enters its peak fire season in late May, lasting approximately 28 weeks. This year has seen 79 high-confidence fire alerts so far, a normal figure compared to previous years back to 2012. Notably, between May 15 last year and February 12 this year, 1,457 high-confidence fire alerts were reported. From 17 May 2021 to yesterday, the Northern Cape has experienced 12,754 fire alerts, highlighting the ongoing challenge of managing fire risks in the region. And of course, salute to all of our firefighters and volunteers who keep us safe. Let's take a look at a sunrise view to wrap up this section of the morning and look at that Naomi from Mossel Bay. A golden sunrise awakens below a speckled cloudy sky. I get very poetic when I see your sunrise views. Thank you so much. And please, let's continue that. 063-408-8863. That is my number. Please save it to your phone and send many sunrise views. We'd love to feature you on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Now let's give you an idea as to what to wear today with your temperatures across South Africa. Here we go. We just wanted to give you a little extra time on Cape Town to Uppington, just so you can get the programming of exactly the temperatures and what to wear. I suggest layering today.
Exactly,
that'll be fine.
layers. Because you know, it's going to be one of those days you're going to be sweating if you're in the sun and you're going to be freezing if you're in the shade. So just layer up and we got you covered. But of course, temperature does affect our hair as well. And I would imagine, being the star that she is, Zozibini Tunzi has picked up some incredible hacks when it comes to her own hair care routine. And our gorgeous Ayanda Tabete got down an opportunity to sit down with her in the space where beauty meets science.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
have an opportunity now to tell a very powerful story of empowerment and confidence, because that's how much it means. Dark and Lovely, the beacon of hair care for African women, let's be honest, invited Ayanda alongside their beautiful brand ambassador, one of our favorites, Zozabili Tunzi, to venture into the heart of innovation with an exclusive lab tour. This gets exciting, unveiling the science behind their Pro Collection serum. Take a look.
Today we unveil secrets of innovation. I am in Joburg and we are going behind the scenes with Dark and Lovely's Pro Collection Stimulating Serum. Join myself and brand ambassador Zozibini Tunzi as we take a tour of the lab with the scientists that created this beautiful serum. Atandwa, I am such a science girl. I'm literally one of those consumers that will get research on a product before I start. How did you determine the methodologies that you used for this product?
So as Dark and Lovely Research and Innovation, we always make sure that whatever testing methodologies we used are based on what consumers are doing already. So the gestures that they use, how they use a product is really consumer focused. And so we've got a 3-layer testing methodology that we do. So first, we'll always test the product with our experts. So these are the ladies who will test the product and see if this gesture makes sense or does the method of use make sense. Then we test instrumentally or clinically. This is where we take machines and we quantify the performance of the product. So that's how we're able to come to claims like 10 times stronger. It's based on actual science and actual numbers. And then finally, we put the product in the consumer's hands, because ultimately you're going to be using the product. It starts and it ends with our consumers.
What we do here, we are expert evaluators. We are trained to evaluate product performance on African hair, on different curl types and different textures. When we start evaluating to shampoo the hair, is to remove build-up, because day to day we apply moisturizers, we apply creams and hair food. So you want to remove that build-up, keep the hair clean, also in preparation of the next step, which is your treatment step.
How do you select the people that you use for evaluation?
The lab would tell us, depending on the product that we're testing, the lab would advise on the type of hair they want, the length, the curl type, the hair texture. Then we have somebody recruiting for us. They bring the model on site, and then we also qualify them on site also. So if she combs 3 times on the left, she must comb 3 times on the other side.
Hello, my lady. My name is Zozi.
Can you feel the difference already? Yeah. So in this case, it's just one product. But if we're evaluating 2 products, you don't want to move the left to the right, cross-contaminating. So we avoid doing that.
That was amazing, being able to get my hands into that hair and feel the actual difference myself. I think it was amazing, and the fact that they bring in these models. And so it was such a beautiful experience to see what my products that I use on my hair look like and how they work.
So typically for us as chemists, we interact with the product the highest number of times more than anyone. If the salon hairdressers tell me it's too thick, then I need to make sure that the value that I got today here must be lower.
So I've been looking at your boxes, obviously, and stamoxidine comes up a lot. And we have these as raw materials. What exactly is stamoxidine? Is it like a molecule that was created by us, or is it a raw material that you've added?
It's a proprietary raw material. It was developed by L'Oreal, essentially to use only in L'Oreal. So it's a molecule that essentially then makes up a raw material.
Something that I learned about the innovation of the products today is that, first of all, the Dark and Lovely team actually cares. They care for African women and their hair. And the reason why I say this is because I walked into an actual lab where they are making these products specifically for African women by all of these scientists, to a point that they even have like their own combination of what they call stamoxidine, which is like their own formula that is patented especially for this particular reason of growing hair, because because we know this is like an issue for some African women. It's so difficult to find products that actually help. And so they went in and formulated this thing specifically for these women, tested the hair throughout. And so I think that's the one thing that I learned. The research was so deep, and it was amazing just being a part of it.
What we've seen today is that the Pro collection is the pinnacle of hair technology today, giving women exceptional results for that beautiful, vibrant, healthier crown that we all love so much.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible that through innovation and research, they've created their own patented formula to stimulate growth and nurture healthy hair. Now, Dark and Lovely encourages African women to embrace the diversity of their hair textures and feel beautiful every day.
Oh, thank you so much, young man. I'm just kind of refueling a little bit here without the discomfort of any lactose intolerance because I need to. I'm going to be hosting a little fun challenge called the Turkey Trivia Challenge, and we're going to put our knowledge to the test here when it comes to that beautiful part of the world. Then when it comes to family baggage, of course, some of us have a little fanny pack with barely nothing in it at all. Others come with a whole trunk full of crates of that baggage, and we're going to unpack that. What happens when you bring your family baggage into a relationship? The experts are here in the expert hands of my psychologist this morning to take you through it. This should be a really, really good one. Meaty. Join markets.com today. Start your journey to trading success and stand a chance of winning one of 2 iPhone 15s valued at 20,000 Rand each. With 6 global licenses, 4.7 million clients worldwide, and free insight on the markets from trading expert Ruan Landsberg, markets.com is where opportunity meets education. Download and sign up now on markets.com mobile app. And that competition ends Friday, the 17th of May. Good luck.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, naturally, on Expresso, we love to make you feel good, of course. But it's a Tuesday, and per usual, we need to dive deep into the world of relationships. And we love going there because we enjoy we enjoy empowering people. Now, today's dilemma reads as follows, and the thing is, you can weigh in as well if you want to. So, I've been seeing my girlfriend for a while now, and we recently became official. She wants to meet my family, but I would prefer to keep them separate because part of my family has some baggage and that I'm not proud of or prepared to share at this point. I have a fear that if I introduce them, she might want to leave me. What do I do? Ha! And this is why I bring the experts. Joining us right now to discuss this and give their professional advice is Sadia Southgate from the HPCSA, a registered counsellor, of course, a psychologist, a supervisor, a visionary. And then registered counsellor Danielle Mayers here as well, also a visionary, to make sure we get to the bottom of this particular thing. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. As always, a scenario that has a lot of questions to it. The first and foremost, I think, is, having family baggage and then moving into a relationship which is inevitably going to reveal the family baggage, this person now wants to hide it to avoid this other person from leaving them. Initial thoughts going in with that type of sentiment into a relationship?
Yeah. You know, I think when it comes to family, it's just such a sensitive space and topic in general.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think with this dilemma, it's so important that he's actually intentional about being open and honest with his communication.
Okay.
And also just creating that space for them to confide in each other. And also knowing that part of effective communication in the relationship is about recognizing what are the stressor points in the relationship, whether it be family discord, whether it be family issues. Even if he's not comfortable sharing in the particulars, it's okay to still mention that that is a stressor point for him.
Interesting. But let's go on to the fact that, you know, is the baggage so bad that this particular person wants to, like, sort of keep, you know, her away from it type of thing? I just want to know, should he not be allowing her to make that decision, you know? Because do you not think that somebody's taking emotional responsibility for somebody else if they're saying, no, but you are going to feel this way about my family, therefore I've made the decision for both of us? Is that even fair?
I don't think it's fair at all because they are both adults.
Yes.
And what I also see, especially when it comes to relationship, emotional maturity plays such a big role along with trust, as you mentioned as well. But she can make the decision whether she wants to stay or whether she wants to go. And I believe there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. Yeah. Some of us, in some way or season in our lives, also come from baggage, whether it's family or friends or even past relationships. And we tend to take that with us. So for him, whatever he brings in, he can actually communicate with her and for them to make a mutual decision around what's best for their relationship. I think partly also is that he recognizes there is baggage. So in that sense, it would have been different if he didn't recognize his baggage and he still brings it into the relationship. So already that shows maturity.
Okay, that's great. So you got twofold over here. On the one side, you got somebody who is trying to hide somebody they care a lot, you know, about from what they perceive as something very, very negative. Yes. And then on the other side, you know, you get somebody who's mature enough to say, you're not going to like what's in the trunk.
Yeah.
So can we just keep on driving?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get it. But now let's talk about how family affects relationships and friendships. I think it's also important because our family is our family. And we also don't know who on the other side, they may also have some baggage too. So, you know, how do you start a conversation like that? Saying, you know, I'm estranged from my dad, or my mom's like this, or my uncle's like that. I mean, how do you even begin to have that conversation?
Yeah, look, it can be really daunting, but I think it's okay to enter into those difficult conversations sometimes. And, you know, earlier you mentioned, how does family actually play into you as an individual, into the relationship as a whole? And it can impact our attachment styles in the relationship, the way we communicate, a lot of things that we've learned. And so it's so important to actually open up that conversation. And in fact, also, I would say the responsibility is on you as the partner to bring across what your needs are in the relationship.
Okay.
And what are the things that you are also struggling with, and allow input from your partner as well.
I just thought about something now. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Do you think that somebody, an individual, has a responsibility, right, to obviously create some boundaries for themselves, emotional boundaries? Is it okay for them to have those going into a fresh relationship, saying that I can't go there myself, and therefore I don't want you to go there? Are those boundaries, I'm going to say, allowed when you start things off? Or is it a bit of, you know, deceit or perceived deceit when someone doesn't want to show you that side of them?
I think it can be contradicting as well in a relationship, because it does sound like he is feeling new in the relationship as well. So again, you mentioned about intention. So what is my intention with this relationship? Is this eventually going to become my spouse? Or is this just a short-term thing and I eventually want to move on from it? But for me, you know, when it comes to relationships as well, when it comes to boundaries, it's about letting some people in, but then also letting some people out, and not like having them be a part of your lives. So for him, if he wants to let her in, he would have to also kind of set those boundaries as well, in saying, I'm allowing you into my space, regardless of what the consequences is. And again, leaving it up to her to decide whether she wants to stay or leave. But boundaries essentially are good, especially when it comes to families, because we know that families always play a big role in our relationships, whether we like it or not. So in that regard, have an open conversation about it and don't hide anything, because relationships are built on trust. So the moment he only twists certain information or withhold the truth from her, even just a portion of it, it's going to set them up for failure and eventually have an unhealthy relationship.
That's very true. And what I'm thinking about now is I know that there are some individuals who want to know all of you. But there are certain parts of you that you can't even deal with yourself. You're not even ready. You haven't gone through the necessary counseling to deal with. So there is a bit of opposition because that person's like, I want to know all of you, baby. I want to know everything about you. But then there are some things that you haven't even dealt with yourself. And I think that's a very difficult path to navigate, which we need to pick up on in our next chat. Now, if you have any questions, 063 408 8863. The experts are on the couch. We're talking about something massive. Family baggage and relationships. Yes, we're going there today. And if you want to go there with us, feel free.
Perhaps we could create some new family baggage for the next generation by one of you winning 55 million rand and then dealing with that. I'm sure a few family members would come knocking on your door. Now, I jest about a very serious topic, so please rejoin that conversation. But there is a lighter side to it because you literally could win 55 million rand. That's if you play Powerball and Powerball Plus today. Those are the estimated jackpots this Tuesday. It's incredible. So you can play Powerball for an estimated 38 million rand and then Powerball Plus for an extra R2.50 per slide, estimated at 17 million rand today. But as always, you've got to play to actually win. And you can do that by buying your ticket in store, nationallottery.co.za online. You can use their brilliant mobile app. You can use your own cell phone banking app. There's normally a little drop down there, make it super simple. Or you can dial *120 *7529# for the USSD. And we put all of those details up and we keep them up on our social media pages. That's the Expresso pages, so you can go and check them out. And Panda, Pusher, play. Now, speaking of playing, we're going to have a little bit of fun after the break and test our trivia knowledge when it comes to Turkey. We're going to play the Turkey Trivia Challenge and see how much this team knows about that beautiful part of the world. So much culture and history there. And then leaning on our own culture and history, of course, contemporary African art has a massive role to play. And we're going to hone in on that, what's happening on the ground floor right now on the other side of this.
Attention, all you passionate young chefs in the making. Are you between the ages of 13 and 17? Do you love making magic in the kitchen? Then this is your chance to shine on TV. Enter to be a contestant on the Tastemaster SA Junior, made with love by Clover, and stand a chance to win 150,000 rand. WhatsApp a video showing us your baking skills or enter on the tastemaster.co.za. Entries close 31st May. T's and C's apply.
So, Nela, can you hear me, gorgeous?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. How much do you know about Turkey? So we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to pose questions to you.
Yeah.
With a little bit of delay.
There's not a delay.
So what, do we put hands up to announce if we know the right?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're making you feel good with a conversation that I think you need to have sooner rather than later. Before the break, we presented a relationship dilemma. And it sounded like this. I've been seeing my girlfriend for a while now, and we recently became official. She wants to meet my family, but I would prefer to keep them separate because part of my family has some baggage that I'm not proud of or prepared to share at this point. I have a fear that if I introduce them, she might want to leave me. What do I do? We've got Sadia Southgate, a HPCSA registered counsellor, as well as psychologist and supervisor, and registered counsellor Daniel Mayer, who has been weighing in and giving us their expertise. Let's continue. Now, of course, you can weigh in if you want to, but let's go back to the scenario and let's just put ourselves in the situation. Are there any red flags, Danielle, that you could perhaps, I'm going to say, allow people to be aware of, that their family baggage or family relationships are affecting their current relationship a bit too much?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to red flags and weighing in on, look, how much is this actually affecting our relationship?
Yes.
If it's causing a lot of anxiety, feeding into that fear and insecurity you may feel in the relationship, as well as potentially having the partner feel that, listen, their emotional needs are also now not being prioritized.
Yep.
And I think also a red flag would be if there's a lot of potential conflict and arguments that could now filter into the relationship because of the family baggage or the family discord that might be happening. And so a lot of times when we're not working through those things, it also can add to emotionally destructive behavior and projection within the relationship. And so I would think a lot of that constitutes as red flags or signs that, listen, this may now be too much in terms of what the relationship is able to cope with or handle.
So just in terms of professional expertise, I think we need to actually just address the gentleman directly. Let's just say if this was, you know, this person was in front of us. I am always fascinated by prevention being better than cure.
Yeah.
And I have a theory that perhaps in newer relationships, when you are doing the initial family meeting, is there perhaps not a conversation that you can have prior to this meeting to allow that person to keep an open mind? Because there's always going to be an assertive mom who doesn't want her baby boy to date just anybody. So there's a test there. Trust me, I've been through these circumstances where everybody wants to test you in that braai. And suddenly all those things are coming up, and then that auntie is not supposed to be there, and then there's a bit of an awkward moment, almost to prep the partner to have an open mind and just go into this with not taking anything personally. Is that even a conversation that would be able, like you'd be able to have prior to meeting this family with the baggage?
Yes, absolutely. You know, you don't always have to divulge all the information and kind of just leave a bomb on your partner in the beginning, because it's quite overwhelming. Firstly, the relationship is new. They've just made it official. So there's a lot of like stigma also just around. Then, as you say, when it comes to family, there's a lot of teasing, a lot of things that gets thrown into your face and things like that. So there's a lot of preparation that is needed for you, for yourself, because how are you going to deal with that eventually once it, you know, it comes to you, or you get to the family bride, as you say, and they're saying certain things. So you not only need to prepare yourself, but you need to prepare your partner as well. And regardless of what is going to happen and how it's going to play, we don't have control over that. We only have control over our reactions. So it's kind of having that conversation and open discussions about whatever the outcome is of the gathering. As long as we're on the same page, that's all that matters.
Yeah, just have a conversation saying, like, your Auntie Daphne, she drinks a bit, so she might say things. Just be aware. But we do have a comment that's weighed into our scenario. Let's take a look at that comment and get the experts to weigh in. So this is from Tuli saying, depending on your plans with future, rather don't let her meet your family yet. If you are serious about her, have an in-depth conversation with her. And if you are in for the long haul, she's bound to know anyway. So I think that kind of speaks to what you were chatting about in terms of, you know, the angles of the relationship as well. I got another comment though that also weighs into this one. It's from Mishka saying, unfortunately, we cannot choose our family and we are not responsible for the things families do. You are your own person. If she really loves you, she will accept your flaws and all, and she'll understand that nobody is perfect. Look at that. I mean, that's the perfect world.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it is. I think everybody's triggered by their own traumas in their own families versus the partner's family. But I think maybe just to wrap this up for anybody who is dealing with family baggage, but also wants to move on with their own lives. Because we can't all say, I'm not going to date anybody until I address my concern as my auntie, my uncle, my father, my mother, my siblings. We don't all have the emotional intelligence for that. So for anybody going into a new relationship, wanting to navigate having family baggage and still wanting to move forward with somebody, what are some of, I'm going to say, foundation, the pillars of starting off with a safe environment and to bring this person in slowly?
I mean, like you mentioned, always start with being open and honest with yourself. Where are you at with the situation as a whole? Recognize any unprocessed traumas that maybe you have and how that's also playing into the relationships and how that pertains to your family. And I would say have that conversation with your family first and foremost. Start to open up that dialogue and get comfortable. And if you find that in the relationship you are moving from a place of insecurity when it comes to your family, nothing wrong with speaking to your partner, asking for reassurance and clarity that, you know, as the comment said, if you're in it for the long haul, it's okay to start venturing into those conversations.
And last word from you?
Yes, absolutely. For me, you know, it's about creating a safe space in the relationship as well. You spoke about triggers and also creating a safe space again. And a lot of times in our relationships, we can even attract that. Whatever we experience in our families previously, we attract that in our partners. So sometimes it's important for him as well, and for any relationship that they're going into with family baggage, is to also be aware of the potential conflict that could come, because what if there is a disagreement and your partner brings that up as well, and that's a topic for another day.
It is.
But essentially for me, what it comes down to is creating that safe space. As you spoke about, you know, the foundation, it starts with me as an individual, because at the end of the day, whatever I'm feeling, I'm going to project that onto my spouse or to my partner, and I don't think that that is okay. So I can't give something that I don't have. So by me healing, I'm also healing the relationship and my partner as well.
Beautiful. This is why we bring you along. You make us feel so secure, and family baggage, it's so difficult to navigate. As you mentioned, there are so many different angles we can go into, but I thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. And yes, family baggage, I think what I'm hearing there is the pillars of the entire relationship is honesty, openness, having the open conversations, as well as ensuring that your partner has a space in which to be safe to have these convos. And I think that's the definite start. And also, you cannot control the entire world, but you can control the response to it. So have a conversation about that as well. And all the best and good luck as we go to Turkey.
Yes, perhaps your lost love is waiting for you in Turkey. Maybe your family baggage is left in Turkey and you need a super, super awesome trip to go and find it. Today, we are going to have a little bit of fun. We're making it officially a Travel Tuesday again on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We are about to partake in a trivia challenge, and today's destination, Turkey. We're about to challenge our international knowledge, put it to the test with a Turkey trivia challenge. And because Zanele never gets to come and have fun with my psychologist, I thought let's put them against one another. These are two of the sweetest people on the planet, but I have an idea that they are both quite competitive, okay? I know you, my friend. I know you. I can see the fight. Look, she is. Okay, this is your first chance to beat Carl live on TV. Zanele, are you with us? Okay,
I'm
before
ready.
we do this, I'm going to be asking
Carl, I
you
hope
some...
you already take a beating.
Ooh, I told you, them fighting words. My gorgeous girl, have you ever been to Turkey?
I have. However, I will say it was literally so many years ago. I was only 16 years old. So I've been there, but you know, I was still very young. So I don't know a lot about it, but I think I'm going to try my best.
I think you're going to absolutely smash it. These are great questions. They speak volumes about this gorgeous little slice of heaven. And we're going to have some fun and maybe get hungry along the way and learn something that we didn't know. But I'm going to ask each of you to use your name as your buzzer. So if you know the answer, say your name loud and proud, okay? Let all that family baggage come out. Just scream your name, buddy. All right. We're going to start with a relatively simple one. This one I actually did know myself. What is the capital city of Turkey?
Zanele.
Go for it. Yes,
Istanbul.
Zanele. Istanbul. Don't look so nervous.
Carl.
Constantinople. Constantinople. Zanele, great start. You have 1 point in the bag. That 16-year-old brain is serving you well. Good job, girl.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Thank you. That was where I actually went.
Ankara.
What?
Oh, my word.
That was like one of those
You might have to dock a point from me. I start the game. I'm not even playing with -1. I was absolutely certain it was Istanbul. Oh, Ankara.
It's just one of those Brasilia things?
Yeah.
That's why.
Wow. So can I'm gonna have to take your point away from you. I'm so sorry. Wow. Okay, Ankara is the capital of Turkey, but I have a feeling that other city might still feature. I know. Go back and blame your 16-year-old version of yourself. And now I'm all nervous whether I know this one or not.
Let's go.
What is the name of the famous Turkish dessert made from layers of filo pastry filled with chopped nuts and sweetened with honey or syrup? It's beautiful. I think I know, but now I'm insecure. Who's got this?
Go.
Zanele?
Okay, is it baklava?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's the right answer. Yes, it is. You had the face that I had throughout high school there, just quietly hopeful that I had the right answer.
Yes, girl.
Well done. She's out the gates. Okay, you're in this, bud. You can do this. You can do this. Okay. Which Turkish city holds the title of being the only city in the world, in fact, that is located on 2 different continents?
Wow.
Zanele.
Go for it.
Istanbul.
Yes, it is Istanbul. And in fact, sits with 1 foot on either side of the famous Bosphorus, which means it's intercontinental.
Yes. Well
Put that in John Wick, hey? Come on. So it's 1 foot in Asia, 1 foot in Europe. Absolutely
There you
awesome.
go.
Come on, Carl. Where are you, guys? Let go of the family baggage now.
I am right here, guys. Don't worry about it.
All right, hopefully you'll know this one. And your outfit kind of echoes it. What nut is Turkey the leading exporter of?
I'll guess Zanele.
Yes. Is that you're guessing your name or you're guessing the answer?
Almond
are
walnut.
incorrect,
Almond.
I think.
Carl,
come on.
Pistachio.
Pistachio. And you both have a little bit of that color on you right now. Ding, 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 ding. Hazelnuts. Wow. I was absolutely certain it was pistachio as well.
I think it's because of the baklava. That's why.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been a real eye-opener for me.
Lovely.
But they do also sell pistachios there, incidentally. Okay, this one is really cool, and I had to research the answer. How many seas border Turkey?
Oh, goodness.
Zanele.
Okay. Go for it,
I'm
go.
going to guess
Okay.
3.
I like the second breath there.
Yes.
3. I'm going to say you are. Do you want to have a guess before we go?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I'm insecure now. 4 seas.
That
Wow.
sounds right.
I actually thought it was 3 as well.
In black.
So we've got the Aegean, the Mediterranean, the Black, and one other. The Black Sea.
Yeah, Mediterranean, and then Marmara.
Marmara Sea.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Turkey is a connected little slice of heaven. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, Carl, you fell just short of winning the tickets to Turkey. So now you are heading back to Turkey if you can afford to buy a super cheap ticket on Turkish Airlines. You're amazing, girl. Well done. This was an eye-opener for me. Zanele, you did really proud. Well done. You've won your first challenge against young Carl on your feel-good breakfast show. Look how proud she is. Well done, buddy.
Yay.
I think Carl went easy on you there for a second. Absolutely love that. Some hidden gems everywhere to find in this beautiful part of the world. And did you know that Turkish Airlines are the official sponsors, Carl, of the UEFA Champions League? So Turkey has so much to offer, from historic voyages to incredible culinary experiences. Go and plug in yourself. Head to turkishairlines.com to book a trip to Turkey or to any of their other 265 international destinations. Do it now. You have earned yourself that right. Congratulations to both our challengers. Zanele is our Turkey Trivia Challenge winner. Well done.
Seriously. Well done.
Phew.
All right, still so much to go.
I'm hungry for baklava
By the way,
now,
if Turkish Airlines want to send me to the Champions League final, I'm available too. It's fantastic. But of course, we still have to celebrate on your Feel Good Breakfast show. You know, Africa Month is on its way, so we have so many things that are steeped in culture that we want to navigate through. So we're going to do that in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and some exquisite contemporary art. And then I'm hoping I'm going to create my own piece of contemporary art as we whip up a creamy sump risotto. Take a look at that.
Look at this. I can almost touch it.
I feel like I undersold it. It looks beautiful. Just read it. I feel like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. You can do it. We'll make that on the other side of this.
Yum.
Very dry, tight, sensitive skin. Relieve itchy skin in just 60 seconds with Aveeno's Skin Relief Moisturizing Lotion. Aveeno.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, the only way to start off your morning. And my friend, today we are celebrating the fact that we are in Africa Month. And what better way to chat to young people who are absolutely killing it in the space that allows us to genuinely appreciate art in Africa. So everybody, please welcome to the show. It is Denzel Simanda, who is, of course, the owner of Denzel's and Joe, the art gallery in Malville, the only one that matters. I said the only one that matters. As well as Thabiso Takamela, who is the artist that is joining us today. Everybody, let's give them a Feel Good welcome. Hi, gentlemen.
Hi, how are you? Good, and you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, thank you for being here. Denzel,
Yes.
I want to start with you.
Yes.
Mister, you are honestly someone who has a vision. Because
Sure.
when it comes to art, I think you have to have that and you have to have an eye.
Absolutely.
So speak to us about where your love for art started.
I would say it started with my brother. My brother was an artist.
Yes.
I would see him waking up in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, and just pouring himself out on a canvas.
Yeah.
I think that's where literally it started. And then from there, just working with him, trying to manage him, coming from the villages and coming to the city like Johannesburg. That's where the love actually started, yeah.
Beautiful. And Thabiso, what about you? I want to ask you the same question because as someone who pours themselves onto the canvas like Denzel just spoke of, where did it all start for you?
When I was young. I'm a self-taught artist, so
Wow.
most of what I know really is just something that comes from, it's just natural for me. So I've been drawing since I was young.
Yes.
But professionally, this is my 10th year.
Sure, that's long, but that's incredible. And the fact that your art only keeps getting better and better, we're going to focus on it in a little bit. But Denzel, I want to come to you because you're, of course, the person that showcases all of these beautiful art pieces. Speak to us about the vision that you have for Denzel's and Joe.
Look, I think our primary vision is to make sure we document African history.
Sure.
I think that's quite important. Knowledge production is one of our ethos.
Yes.
We find that all the art around the world has been focused on other people, and other people have been telling our story. And I think our vision is to make sure that we document our story by our people, right? And making sure our people collect and able to know what's going on in this continent.
Yes, and Denzel, I want you to make me very smart now. So when I go to the Pride and I tell them about contemporary art, they're like, oh, Zanelia knows what she's talking about. What is the difference between contemporary art and just, other art?
I think, like the word, it's self-defining. So contemporary is about the now, right?
Okay.
So when you look at African contemporary art, it's a movement which is coming out. Every art which we know, Dadaism and all these other kind of arts, are a movement of a certain period.
Yes.
After World War I, Dadaism came into being. People were expressing themselves in Europe. But we find that Africa right now is expressing itself more. And we find a lot of people coming in and consuming our knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the African contemporary art is coming into the fore. And that's where you kind of see a lot of artists coming out. And I think it's in every corner right now. African contemporary art, everybody's talking about it. But it's basically a movement which in 100 years, people will be talking about it.
Come on.
Yeah.
And all eyes are on Africa at the moment.
Absolutely.
We are the Beyonce of the world when it comes to the countries.
I agree, 100%.
Exactly. One of the reasons for that is because of people like you, Thabiso, who are being part of this movement that Denzel's speaking about. So where does your inspiration come from, particularly when you are in Africa? There are so many different things that could inspire you.
So basically, the idea where you, with contemporary art, or just build on what he was saying, that is the art of today, relevant today and today's issues. So my work is centered more around, discussing social issues affecting us today, and emotions and passions and, different experiences. So for me, it's like day-to-day experiences, meeting people, things that I go through myself, feelings that I have here and there, moods, whatever. So it's just really a discussion of, things that are relatable to us, in our social structures,
Beautiful. I love that. Denzel, very quickly, before we jump into some of these art pieces, I want to ask you, to someone who maybe might be there being like, I want to get into art, I want to know more about it. How would you encourage them to get into it?
I think don't let anyone tell you that your talent or what you feel is invalid.
Yeah.
Right. So I've seen it with my brother. because my parents just saw him as somebody who can draw, they took him to a technical high school so that he can do technical drawing. All they had was just drawing, right?
Yes.
But he's a guy who was talented, who just wanted to put paint on canvas. And I think that's what's important. Your
Sure.
dreams, what you have and what you feel is valid.
Love
Don't
that.
let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Beautiful. And Thabiso, before we jump over back to Cape Town, what is your favorite piece that you have here with us today? Quickly, your favorite one.
So this one.
Ah.
She is just in her deep thoughts,
Yeah.
and she's just like really zeroing in on herself. Everything else around it doesn't matter much.
Come on. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You guys
Thank
are
you
so
so much.
incredible. And shout out for also just being at the forefront of allowing African contemporary art to truly be on a platform.
No, thank you for having us.
Of course. I told you we were getting to know absolute kings, people who are genuinely putting Africa on the map in the best way possible. But South Africa, we need to continue to tap into that art because it lives within us. Right about now, my Cape Town family is in the kitchen. And honey, I gotta ask, what's cooking, guys?
Well, you know what? African art includes Chef Roux. Chef Roux is an artist in this kitchen, and sometimes the humblest ingredients make a feast fit for a king, like turning South African staple samp into a creamy, scrumptious risotto that's hearty and versatile. If lactose intolerance side effects are stopping you from enjoying something like this and trying this dish, then Clover No-Lac Full Cream Fresh Milk comes to the rescue, and Chef Roux does too. Let's get straight into it because we are going to use some No-Lac, and we're going to start off with the pan. Chef Roux, I see the onions already singing to me.
They are. And can you smell that?
I love the smell of onions. And you know what? Onions for me is always like the start of something good.
Always. And you always have to have them as a base.
That's correct.
It's a rule, unspoken rule.
I
I
think
love
it's-
the way you said risotto. I love that.
Risotto is okay.
Yeah.
But it's important to say that risotto. You can't just say a normal
Oh
thing.
my goodness, are we in Italy now?
Well, I like to make it like nice and fancy, you know?
Okay.
Like when somebody goes, hey, let's have a quesadilla.
Okay.
You have to say quesadilla. Gracias. But yeah, it's different. So what we're doing is we start in the pan. The smells are good already.
Right.
And we are giving it a proper twist.
Yes.
Samp itself as a staple.
Yes.
In South Africa, it is the building blocks of any strong individual in South Africa. Samp is our thing.
For all of us, as you can see,
Yes.
we've gone through that.
Yeah, we've grown a lot
Yeah.
since us eating samp.
So we've just put in some onion, some garlic. We've got our mushrooms, so it's a mushroom risotto as well.
Okay, great.
So we're going to add the mushrooms into this mix.
Fantastic.
Okay. And then we've got some aromatics. We've got some thyme as well that we're going to add to this.
Onions, mushrooms, thyme. Just keep a note of the ingredients, but don't worry, we've got them all on expressoshow.com. And what we're going to do with the beautiful mushrooms is that we're going to sweat them down. Mushrooms are a natural flavor carrier with the onions, so all we're doing is we're building flavor from base to top. Awesome.
100%.
So this is great.
So this is just going to go for a little bit. What I love about this is the samp. It's
Yes.
already quite starchy. So you've got an excellent like base for your risotto.
That's
in
it.
here. Yeah.
And that's why we're going to kind of do that sort of South African take on a risotto, because it's like I think the real creaminess of the dish as well is, that's why I say with risottos you can use different things like the buckwheat also works as well. But to
Excellent
make it extra
substitute.
traditional, some samp is great.
Yeah.
And we need the creaminess from somewhere. But the thing is, cream says lactose, and if you're lactose intolerant, it says don't try the dish. We don't want that to happen to you today. We're using Clover's No-Lac because we still want you to have the risotto creaminess. But of course, without any of those side effects, that could be a problem for you. As you know, not only is this risotto hearty and delicious, it also is packed with some goodness. As you know, with dairy, it's a great source of calcium as well as vitamin C. But Clover No-Lac Full Cream Fresh Milk is easy to digest, so you can be free of discomfort that comes with being lactose intolerant. You should never, ever allow yourself to not have these beautiful, generous portions like the samp risotto. You should try it as a great alternative, to be honest with you, and serve as a vegetarian meal on its own, or you can serve it as an accompaniment to a beautiful protein. Up to you. You can go roast chicken, you can go lamb shank, you can go beef stew, you can just leave it as it is.
So
right?
many alternatives. I love to eat this on its own. Actually, there's enough flavor for
This
you
would
to
make
actually
sense to me.
eat it
I
on
mean,
its own.
So let's just, if we're going to fast forward this a little bit, at what stage are we going to put the, oh, there we go.
There we go.
Here comes the
So we're
No-Lac.
putting in 2 cups of this. Excellent.
This is
creamy.
fantastic.
It's just going to bring this all together.
And the rest is reduction. The rest is actually reducing down to get
It's
very creamy.
reducing.
You're also helping the reduction process by adding what
So
I
we
think
have
is
some lactose-free cheese.
There we go. I knew it was coming. So, Chef Room, we're going to continue this. Allow this to cook down. We're going to enjoy this a little bit later. You've been phenomenal in the kitchen today. Thank you so much for joining us. Please try it out for yourself, and you can get the full recipe, as mentioned, on expressoshow.com. And give it a try and let us know how it goes.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolax range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
For the very last time this morning, welcome back here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And my friend, we need to end off on the highest note possible. So we brought the highest of the royalty we could find. I'm talking about kings. It is, of course, Manu Worldstar, Tino, and Vuga, everybody!
Yeah. I go by the name Manu Worldstar. I got Tiani Africa with me. I got Vuga and Beats with me. And this one is Big Boys. Out everywhere. You ready?
She wanna chill with the big boys. She want money, she want enjoy. When she with me, give her ding dong. She ain't my feast with them big boy. She wanna chill with the big boy. She want money, she want enjoy. When she with me, give her ding dong. Ding dong, make her enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. Enjoy, give a big fuss. I'ma enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. You ready? Enjoy, give a big fuss.
Big boy, yeah, she let her call me Poppy. Late at night, yeah, she ride it like a Harley. Anything you want just to make you happy. Dinner time, yeah, chew it like a chappy. Down piece on my side like I'm over. Lucky like a 4-leaf clover. Kill it, dumb till it's over. Love drunk, baby, give me hangover. You know the vibe is so fine, I cannot control my eye. And I no reply when the streets hit me up, I know be shy. Baby, you a dream, forever my queen.
Hey, I say 1, 2, 3, let's go. She wanna chill with the big boys. She want money, she want enjoy. When she with me, give her ding dong. She ain't my feast with a big boy. She wanna chill with a big boy. She want money, she want enjoy. When she with me, give her ding dong. Ding dong, make her enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. Enjoy, give her big fuss. I'ma enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. Enjoy, give her big fuss. Yeah. Bébé, qu'est-ce que tu fais, dis-moi tu es prêt, Je veux expliquer, give me couple seconds. Hey, I go kick you in a phantom, we can go to Santon. I go drop a couple racks on. I said, if you better for me, that's how me. Your love for me. If you better for me, that's how me. Your love for me. If you're watching, do it with us. Forever my queen. Hey! Enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. Enjoy, give a big fuss. I'm a enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. With a big boy, I'm a big boy, big boy. Enjoy, give a big fuss.
Just to make you happy. Just to make you happy.
Another feel-good production.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolax range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.